everyone, this is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week is Michael Huber.
Hello, E3!
Daniel Bloodworth.
I really thought you were going to go the other way. That's fun.
And, as always, Brandon Jones.
Hi.
Brandon Jones is always last because he's so eloquent. But...
Yeah.
Hi.
What's hilarious is I think Brandon and I have probably had the least amount of sleep and are more awake.
No.
No. Like,
I was up all night.
Speak for yourself. I'm not awake at all.
Oh, really?
I'm delirious.
Beth watched a horror movie called The Wailing, and for the last week, we have slept with all the lights on and the TV on. I have not slept a wink.
What is it, Wailing?
It's a South Korean horror film. It's my
Sounds
favorite
right.
movie this year.
Are we talking about whales? We talking about whales?
No.
W-A-I-L-I-N-G.
So just some woman crying like,
I don't want to spoil anything. Don't even watch a trailer. Just track the movie down. Go to it. You will not be disappointed.
Just from the name, because I don't know this movie at all.
Yeah.
Just imagine, like, you're just hearing this weird noise. You don't know what the crap it is. And you're trying to figure it out, and then more stuff starts going on.
Yeah.
It's good. It's haunting.
Let's start corrections. Let's just do it.
It's just a peacock.
Begin corrections music, please. Peacocks probably do whale.
Oh, yeah, they do.
First thing I want to acknowledge, I probably apologized too much last week for making the episode long. I got a lot of comments that just said, stop apologizing for that. We like long episodes.
Well, it also wasn't a really... Like, it's not like you went, like, an hour 50 or something.
It used to be blood. If I went over an hour, I'd get a lot of comments from people who say I don't like the show when it goes so long. So now I'm trying to fix that. You know, I'm trying to make everybody happy. It ain't easy.
Hour 15 is probably the sweet spot.
Do you have the same problem where you read one person comment and then you just assume that's what everyone wants?
Always.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll read 50 people say that was a great job, and then the one guy that has something specific to say.
You're in my head. You're in my head.
You got that in. Dead Space 2 Severed was the name of the DLC. Dead Space Ignition was the puzzle-based down-level game. Yeah.
Nice.
Nerd Leaks has a website again.
Good for them.
I stated that March was 2.5 weeks ago, when of course I meant to say 2.5 months. Ubisoft's laser tag game, Battletag, was released in all Zellers in Canada and 15 Toys R Us's in Texas, and then nowhere else.
Wow.
Those lucky Texans.
The message boards for Battletag are still active today.
Nice.
There are people who are still into Battletag, still making up games for it and like launching software for it.
That's crazy.
I'm so jealous.
That's a little
Yes.
crazy.
And corrections music. I love that.
Can you find them on like Amazon or eBay? Like a copy of it?
Yeah, because I think they sold them online. So yeah, I bet they're still online.
It'd be great if there was like some like Netflix documentary about Battletag, you know, that just really gets into the culture.
You're right, Jones. We could get in there, dude, because
know.
there are people who still love Battletag.
The thing about that, though, like, and I'm not on a Battletag forum, so I don't know all the stuff that they're coming up with. But when I saw that at the press conference, I'm just like, we've had this for how long?
Yeah.
What's new about
tag.
this? I don't understand.
Because there's like capture the flag. Remember? Because they would actually like pick up blocks and like rub them on their guns and stuff like that.
I used to go to this park that was like 25 minutes away from my house.
Okay.
We, like my friends and I, like 10 of us, got these laser tag things. And we used to hide like just like a can or whatever. And used to play like 5-on-5 in the dark at like a school park. Laser tag.
That sounds cool. It worked? Did it work?
Yeah. So fun.
Yeah.
I always
That
assumed
sounds
outdoor
way
laser
better
tag
than
never
like the
works.
actual ones that you go in to pay for, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a laser tag one time where they came to a spot, like a designated spot. We went up to like a friend's ranch, and so we like did a whole thing outside at night.
So fun.
And we finished, and we were totally done. And we're like, all right, that was really fun. Thanks, man. And he's like packing up the equipment. And he's like, oh, these are cool. They can make crazy sound effects. Like I can make them sound like Star Wars guns. We were like, you can what?
After
After 4 hours. We were like, dude. And he's like, oh, they didn't tell you? We're like, no, we didn't know we could make them sound like blasters. We didn't know that. You're fired.
And that was it, though.
Here's
You
your
never
money.
came back to laser tag.
No.
Dang. Do y'all remember my favorite way to start a show?
Vaguely.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Game announcement.
Yeah.
A game announcement. We have a big game announcement this week.
Wait, are
Jones,
we gonna play the game, Kyle?
did you forget?
You mention it every time. So I was trying to make a bit out of that.
Oh,
You do a
okay.
bit, I did a bit back. It's too late.
I'm sorry
It's
to
too
pick
late.
up on your bit. You know I love bits. Hubert brought up a great point. We got to play our game.
Yeah, what the heck?
Word of the day, dictionary.com. You all ready for
okay,
this?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is that. I didn't realize you're not picking these randomly. You're getting from dictionary.com's
Yeah.
word of the day. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
They're one of
Yeah.
our sponsors.
Yes. Today's word is comity.
Comity.
C-O-M-I-T-Y.
Okay.
Comity.
Comity.
Yep.
And the definition, please.
Comity is a noun meaning mutual courtesy or civility. This is going to be a tricky one.
All right.
God.
Comity.
Comity.
Civility. Whoever nails this is going to sound fancy.
Comity.
We get all a hard time for how stupid we sound. If you throw out a comity, you sound like a genius. Okay, so anyway, game announcements. Game is Agents of Mayhem by Volition, who the team who were previously making Saints Row games.
Previously known to me as Deep Silver Unannounced Game.
Cool. So you were making meetings for this game, Blood?
Yeah, I was just setting up schedule.
What do you know about this game?
Well, at that point, I knew nothing.
Okay. What do you know now after watching that trailer that was revealed?
I know more about the game from the little IGN paragraph than I know from the trailer.
Sure.
Well, other than trailer, obviously, like, legitimately tying it into Saints Row in some way. So, it seems to be set in some variation of that world. However that world's even ever tied together, I don't even know, because I haven't really played those games. But yeah, it seems like Saints Row superheroes from the sounds of it.
You control a squad of 3 people, is that correct?
Well, I mean, they said it's a single-player game. I'm
Right.
not really sure on the specific mechanics of gameplay. Single-player, open world, and powers. But I don't know if you switch between the people or if you somehow like give commands to people or.
God, imagine that open world game where you control 3 characters. That'd be so cool.
Smug Jones.
Smug Jones.
Here we go.
How would they pull that off?
Oh my God.
So we did,
I actually think that he's right on it. It probably is just GTA 5.
well, why wouldn't you? GTA 5 sells like 20 million. Why wouldn't you be like, hey,
More
we
than that.
should do that?
Well, and 4 was fun with the crazy superpowers and everything, and like or 3 even did that, and 4 totally doubled down. So they're like, okay, let's not add powers to Saints Row. Let's build a game from the ground up, knowing that this is where our studio's at right now. This is the kind of stuff we make.
Yeah. Jones, what do you think about that trailer as a reveal trailer?
It's a fun trailer. I learned next to nothing about that game from that trailer. Like,
What did you learn about the game?
what their names are.
What are their names? Did you like?
Yeah.
Is it a thing where you're attached enough to the characters to care about their names?
Hollywood, but he had like an.
No, it was like Rod something.
He didn't.
Right?
Well, yeah,
Hollywood
his nickname's Hollywood. His
Yeah.
call sign's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood's the only one I remember. What are the
Hardtack.
Hardtack.
Whose like real name was Ishmael, and he used a harpoon and had like he just looked like a big sailor.
Yeah.
Out on
Ahoy,
the
mother
street.
effers. Yeah.
Him swearing was probably the highlight for me, just because I was not expecting that.
Jones, me too. But what I wanted to say is like, why bother dropping these names on us if we don't care, right? Like, you got to make us care about these names.
Sure, like go a South Park route where like the names. Oh yeah, anytime, Sophie. Where like the names crack me up just on their own. Where you're kind of setting it up. Again, I just hate things that just kind of rattle. Like oh, we're a little bit funny here, but now you're actually concerned about this scientist guy. Oh no, he's getting kidnapped. Like I don't care. Like, and they're like, oh, here these guys show up and they're super silly, but oh, they're the world might be destroyed. Just like make up your mind. Like make it funny, make it ridiculous, make the whole thing a farce, or actually make it interesting, make an interesting fight. But I wasn't nervous for anything going on there, and it didn't really set the scene for like how the game is played or like what this incident means. Is this like how the story kicks off, or yeah?
Huber, are you stoked to see more? Are you pretty? Do you have your mind made up on this game already?
No. I'm not. I'm not a closed-minded fellow.
Okay.
So until I see gameplay. I talk with all 3 of you about this all the time because you all do trailer score. Mm-hmm. I am so against CG trailers because it's not the game. Period. It's not the game. Show me the game. What I just saw was not it. That is not how you see the game when I'm sitting there playing. That anyone can just go and make some crazy graphics, some crazy edits, and make some cool looking CG trailer.
Huber, this is a conversation
unacceptable.
I actually wanted to have this.
Good.
Because if you look at Overwatch's marketing,
Yeah.
it is entirely their CG trailers.
So, Overwatch, when you debut that trailer...
No, I'm not talking about their debut. I'm talking about what you see during the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
It's just constant CG.
It is, but when they debuted the game, it was a CG trailer that ended with gameplay.
Oh, well, it had a whole gameplay trailer beside it.
Yeah.
They launched with 2 trailers.
Which is the way to do it. Like, show me the game.
So I'm having a hard time with my feelings on this, actually, for them airing a commercial that's only CG during the NBA Finals.
So
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's honestly, it's funny. That's where my bitterness kind of started, is because of that. It's always those TV spots and commercials where they advertise some super low budget bargain bin game with this crazy CG trailer, or MMOs are a big a big thing with that, you know.
Oh yeah.
And like it's not representative
That first
of what
Final
the game
Fantasy
is.
14 trailer, man.
I mean, you can make a cool trailer, but I just, as a consumer, as someone who's going to buy a game and play the game, I don't know.
So are you frustrated because you have a stake in the game that you're watching and you think they could advertise themselves better, or is it just vile and evil?
To me, it just all feels misleading and weird.
See, the reason why I don't totally jump in that camp is misleading and weird is trailers. Like, any trailer you've ever seen was a lie.
Well,
like,
even for movies, you mean.
The game does not sound like that. The game does not look like that. The game does not play like that.
But
like,
if you show gameplay,
you're right. But you're even the best Overwatch gameplay thing you ever saw was actually 40 matches that lasted 200 hours of game time that they literally took 3 minutes out of. So if you're like, well, that's the game, it's like, no, it's not the game. The highlights don't happen that fast. It's like, of course. So like every trailer has a degree of like, let's make this look as good as it possibly can.
But imagine if like a movie trailer came out and it was some like CG animation. It wasn't even the movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yo, what if it was like
frustrated.
Magnolia and the director said, I want to shoot entirely different stuff for the trailers?
Yeah. That's the vibe I always
That happened
get.
and is great. I love that, Huber.
I like that. See, that's the thing. Like, I think the use of just like horror films and like video game properties into films, I don't think it is guaranteed to be bad. I just think most of them are.
No, what are you talking about?
Most horror movies are bad. Most video game movies are bad.
Whoa, what?
Yes.
Most horror movies are bad?
Yes.
There's a lot of...
Yeah. Out of all the horror films released around the world, the 95% of them are very bad.
One week he's taking down anime, the next week he takes down horror films.
I will backpedal on almost every anime comment I've ever made in my entire life.
But you're standing here.
I am out of line. But I will argue that horror is trash all day. There are movies. I've had this conversation with Huber, and there's movies that Huber's like, no, this movie, go watch it, and I'll go see it, and it's garbage. I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know. I was not.
I feel like you think too much when you watch a horror movie, Jones. It's something horror.
So horror is not for thinking people. If you're doing this Exorcist nonsense,
it's on you to enjoy a horror movie.
Sure.
A lot.
Sure.
You have to suspend your disbelief. You have to get in the mood. You have to want to be scared when you're watching a horror movie. You cannot turn all the lights on and just like,
of course not.
Oh, here comes the killer.
Of course not.
Like, you gotta get in a certain mood when you watch horror.
Totally.
I feel like you don't get in that mood.
I try. I try to
Okay,
get.
well, at least you try.
I do make it. I don't like put headphones on and turn all the lights. Like I'm not gonna like go Star Tours about it and just be like I'm there. Like my brain just doesn't work that way.
Jones has an imagination.
But yeah, how dare you, Hubert?
He's got one, yeah.
But the point being is that like I think you can make a really good CG trailer. To me, the first BioShock trailer was entirely computer animated and is extremely indicative of what you do in that
Final
game.
Fantasy VII Remake. There's a good CG trailer.
Very suggestive. Or even Overwatch is like you can do something that, like I said, like if this legitimately tells the story. If I boot up Agents of Mayhem and the first mission is to rescue a scientist who is captured by Dr. Whatever on the bridge, and I'm like,
Babylon.
oh, Dr. Babylon. Dr. Babylon kidnapped this scientist. He's in this building. We got to go get him. I'm like, I remember that moment. That's cool. If I hadn't seen that trailer, I would have lost context. I highly doubt that is the case with Agents of Mayhem. But
the thing is,
you can do it. You can.
It's like you watch StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void trailer and like the Protoss are just like cutting up all these Zerg, like ducking, rolling, doing all this, and then in the game it's just like can't get hyped. But want to see the game.
But think about it from the advertiser's perspective. I think they have to use the CG trailers. Like if they put on TV, Huber, they're dead.
Exactly, which is advertising, marketing, manipulative.
Okay.
It's all manipulative.
So you're saying you don't like it? It's like you have to do it, but you don't like it.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
I get it. I understand it.
Blood,
I just don't get excited.
In a few days, Blood, we're going to see many, many CG trailers.
Sure.
Before we move on, I want your stance on this whole issue.
I mean, the thing is, like, with this, in a way, I mean, it's like the good thing is also the bad thing because I get no idea how this plays, but at the same time, like I don't feel like it's deceptive about that. Like as great as the BioShock trailer is, if you see that without any context, you're like, well, this game looks amazing, and then like the game that actually looks really great now doesn't look really great because you saw the CG trailer first. That was in first person and looked like the game.
So yes.
Jones, I wish you'd bring up that one. It was first person the whole time.
Thank you for saying that. Even Human Revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can remember I watched the opening cinematic or the intro trailer that's really long. The crazy epic one.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for this.
The way that game looks in that trailer, and then you boot up the game, and it doesn't really look like that. I can remember booting up the game and like somewhat being let down by the visuals. I had to like readjust. Be like, okay, this is how it looks. Like, fine. So I don't know. That's just
everyone has very wide shoulders in that game.
Oh yeah, the proportions are a little weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. Everyone's got very broad shoulders, broad-shouldered universe. That's the future we have to look forward to. Let's move on to E3. We are going to have a lot of CG trailers. During this press conference, I predict we'll see a bunch of CG trailers. The last one that we have to talk about is the Sony press conference, which starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And it is going... Huber, what is this?
It's brooding.
Yeah, what are you brooding about?
No, it's so intense. Sony,
Why? What's going on?
Sony press conference is coming.
So...
It's so soon. I lose my breath thinking about it.
Huber, here's the thing that might give you some calm. They have some bad news to deliver.
What?
They have to talk about Neo.
Yeah.
PlayStation.
W spent a lot of time on Neo and VR.
Yeah. PlayStation 4K.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think they can present that as good news? Do you think they can still keep you hyped? You were having a hard time breathing 10 seconds ago. I feel like we really hit the brakes on the hype train.
Yeah,
immediately
Neo,
by saying the word Neo.
Yeah, Neo does not get me hyped.
Yeah.
Gets me worried. Mm-hmm. Gets me freaked out. Because, once you start running into, like, system specs, price point, all the quarterly revenue, release date, yearly annuals, it's like, you lose me. So hopefully they keep it lean, they keep it mean, they keep it brief. Let's go. PS4, we're not, like, they kind of save it for, like the calm, They do the Shenmue, Last Guardian, Final Fantasy. Everyone's super hyped. Oh, by the way, we got Neo. These games will be debuting on that. It comes out next year. No further details. Stay tuned. It is coming. Moving on.
Yeah.
That's it. Hopefully
Don't save
get
it for
bogged
last.
down.
Don't treat it like it's the best news in the world.
Please do not save it for last.
Well,
Please.
don't sell it. Don't try to sell it.
Okay, what do you mean by that, Jones?
Because I think going into this show, you have people like me that are like either uneducated on it or just not like burnt, on console sales. It's like I bought the 32X back in the day. Like I'm used to buying a console and playing one game on it. That's fine, And so like I'm fairly optimistic about it. I will get that console. I'm good. I'm sold. Like I'm a you can convince me. Xbox One, 2, I don't know, but like PlayStation 4K, yeah, sure, I'll probably buy that. Then you have someone like Huber who's like, I have lots of reservations about this.
Yeah,
because of money.
Following the amazing press conference you had last year and judging by like just the relationship you have with that audience, I just think it's the wrong time to try to like convince the people that aren't convinced. I think Huber nailed it. It's just really be extremely matter of fact about it.
Sure.
When some person comes out on stage and goes, okay, earlier this year it's like now you've built it up way too much. Yeah. Now everyone's like, oh, okay, what cool new thing are you going to tell me about the PS4K that I don't know yet? And if you're just like, those things were leaked, those are true. Like, I don't think there is a way to sell that thing on stage without somebody actually seeing it and playing it.
Jones, I feel like they don't do it enough where they address rumors. Like if someone comes out just super casual, so everyone's heard about the PS4 Neo. Like, just address it, get it out
the PSX, they made a joke about Street Fighter V before they showed Street Fighter V. Yeah. Trent made a infamous presentation. It wasn't necessarily like a leak, but after the hack, he came out and addressed it first thing.
The elephant in the room or something he called it. I forget that.
Yeah, Sony's actually better than most. Yeah. Transparency. It's the new hotness in video games.
The dream way to do it, you come out, you talk about it for 5 minutes, and then you say, oh, by the way, here's some of the games that are going to be on it. Then you go straight in.
And here's specs. If you want to go through specs, that's fine. But don't read me the specs by being like, you want this. Read it like, there it is. You can if you want it, there it is.
I think the parallel...
Sound cool? Great. If not, moving on.
Yeah, the parallel is like computer parts or iPads and things like that, where they just show you. They just say, like, here's how they compare. Well, this one isn't bad. It's not like, don't buy this other earlier version. It's just like, here's how they compare to each other.
If you get like a basketball star out there being like, yeah, I think the PS4K sounds cool. I'm definitely going to get one. Like, or you have some developer being like, we've been working with PS4K, and it was like one of those like montage videos of all like the different people and the different sides of a white screen. Like it's talking about how like stop, don't sell it.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not into it, I can't think of anything you could do during a press conference that will. Now I'm totally changed my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have to like have a friend that got it and was like, it's pretty cool. You should get it. Like.
So, Blood, you said they'd have to spend a lot of time on VR, which is interesting because I feel like we've said that for 2 years running. Do you think this is really the year that they'll dedicate a lot of time to VR?
I think so. Because this is the year that this thing's actually coming out.
Yes.
So I went to their GDC VR presentation and I thought that was done pretty well. So I think number one, like they've got to have something that is just working, like perfectly working.
No Man's Sky.
Oh, like do you remember how poorly it worked last year when they tried to play Pong with each other?
PSX, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it was PSX. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
If you were having issues, just don't bring the thing out.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just move to the next thing and go. But I think what they did at GDC, which I think is really great, but it'd be harder to do at E3, was focusing on like these multiplayer experiences, like focusing on something that like goes outside of people's expectations for your VR a little bit. Like it's like, no, this isn't just isolated. This is like allows you to connect to other people and be like in a space with those people in a way that you haven't been before. I thought that was the most impressive thing about the VR at GDC, but it's really hard, but they have to do it now because this is the time. Like this is when this thing is coming. You know, they need to start getting people excited for it. It's one of the reasons that, you know, Neo is rumored is because it will make, you know, VR more stable or accessible or whatever. But yeah, like both of those things, I'm not really looking forward to seeing on stage.
Sure.
Because I feel like I know everything about PSVR. Like now all it is that, okay, you bring the lineup, you bring the games, and then hopefully they have like some really killer PSVR games that look like
Best
real
way to do
games.
it is No Man's Sky. Because you demonstrate No Man's Sky normally, because the whole thing with VR, it's so hard to demonstrate.
Oh, Jones is
upset.
I don't want to see some dude play No Man's Sky on stage again.
Why not?
No, yeah.
With a VR helmet on?
Yeah,
No.
that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, now like this game's VR.
Right, but
Because then you kill two birds with one stone.
No.
You market No Man's Sky and you market VR.
But like literally, dude, you take any No Man's Sky demonstration that you've already seen and just add a guy in a chair. That's it. That is going to be the only difference.
Jones,
that you're going to see. You're having a dude in a chair with something on his face. The game is going to look exactly the same. The camera is actually going to be harder to track. It's actually going to look worse because the camera is going to be all. Do you remember that? You remember at PSX how you couldn't even watch it? It was like, with those two guys like playing Pong. You're like, I can't. VR is so tough. It's so tough to sell. Like if you haven't tried it, you know.
I have to be honest. I'm thinking they won't spend too much time on it.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm thinking
they've gotten so good at their conferences, man. The last 2 years.
Okay, what's the bet?
That No Man's Sky is on stage with VR. Who is betting me?
I hope not.
Anyone.
No way. No.
Jones is in.
No.
Lock it.
Not gonna happen.
Lock this.
Not happening.
Okay, if I win, we're streaming Knack together.
Okay.
Okay.
If I win, you're coming by for Toy Box Tuesday and we're playing Marvel Battlegrounds.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
We all win.
That's a great bet. Yeah, I like that. Nobody's mad about that one. That's fun. Okay.
All right.
Streaming Knack together.
But just real quick with the Neo, the one thing that bugs me about the Neo is like when you're talking about watching something on a stream, like even though you've got the high quality options or whatever, I really like it's hard for me right now to be convinced that they could like do any kind of side by side on a stream and show the consumer like the Neo actually looking that much better. Like this, the
especially
same game.
through our streams, man.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
like seeing it like in a little window with all the freaking compression and stuff is like it's going to look the same because like even now like if you watch a 1080p video on YouTube and then you boot up that game on your PC, that game looks so much sharper when you're actually playing it.
Yeah.
So, and then you're talking
have to
about
talk
going
about
from
pixels.
1080p to 4K, which you probably most people aren't watching on a 4K monitor or anything.
Let me
Definitely
tell
not
you,
streaming at 4K.
60 frames per second makes the difference. Because the thing is, we're not that far removed from Kobe Bryant showing us Move controllers. You know what I mean? That wasn't that long ago. Like,
Well, you remember
I
when the
hear you,
PS3
Jones.
first got
I get your
announced, and it
fear.
was just like spreadsheets for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, and we're
you're
not,
right.
and like there is a place for that. Like CES, yeah, go for it. Show me a TV and literally show me like how many millimeters, like tiny little units of measurement that make something just a little bit better. But I'll be excited about that. And that's just not what E3 is anymore. E3 is about the announcements. E3 is about seeing things in action. VR in action on stage is not cool.
So you want to hear the crowd. You want an audience.
Yeah.
The audience is there to make noise.
The best thing that they can do with the Neo is to pair it with a significant PS4 price drop. Like, get the people that don't have a PS4 yet to get excited about being able to get into a PS4.
Yeah, I hope they don't alienate anyone because it's so like people just bought these consoles. So hopefully they come out and it's a Comity.
What's like?
I think we'll take it.
This is so hard because none of us know.
Yeah.
It's like I
barely know
Hold
that
on.
word.
The word is natural or mutual courtesy, civility. I think we got to give it to him.
Yeah.
I even again for the third time in a row. I forgot
it
the
always
segment.
this seat?
I forgot the segment even existed.
Yeah.
This
Huber
seat,
does
this
have a
seat
nice
is 3
little
for 3.
spot to like peek on my piece of paper to read the word. But I think we got to give it to him. Huber, you have a couple of werehogs.
Excellent.
But I'm just saying, wasn't it the last 2 weeks? Were they both in this seat too?
Yes.
If I gotta sacrifice werehogs to win the bet this season, I'll do it.
I think I'm going to hand out index cards in the future that have the word written down on it.
Like
so people-
remember how not cocky,
What?
not like abrasive, but remember how cool Jack Trenton was when he announced the price of the PS4, and he announced
best thing.
Remember
That was-
him
yeah.
just being like, "Hey, here's what we're doing," and like, yeah,
Best.
like remember how casual Adam Boyes was when he came out on stage. It was like after everyone had lost their minds over Shenmue and Final Fantasy, and then he comes out like,
Oh, God,
"Okay,
he was
so
so happy.
let's see, let's reckon the okay, announced
love that.
sequel remake Final Fantasy 7." Like, so his
yeah, he
attitude
was
is
doing his
so
checklist.
good.
God,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
they need to have that about the PS4K. They're just like, hey, we did this thing. We know we're not gonna like force you to get it. We're not gonna tell, hey, you're gonna want one. I don't know, maybe you won't. But like, I know that if you do, that if that does sound cool, it is. It's very cool. It is stronger than the console you have. Why wouldn't you want that if that sounds good in your head?
And I
Just
think Blood's
right off the
right.
bat.
I think the way to make people not mad is price.
Sure.
I think that's the way to.
That's something you can announce at a show.
Like when you
that's
thi-
what the press conference is for.
like when Jack Trenton was gloating. Part of that was his console is $50 cheaper than the Xbox One.
Yeah.
That was one of the good news that he got to announce. People were going nuts for that. Like, yeah, if you can
I guess
come out
that's
and
a good
say,
thing.
Yeah, if you can say the Neo is $350, like you win. Good job. Like
Yeah.
you killed it.
$299.
$299 would be absurd.
$299. I wish there was some kind of trade-in deal. I like.
GameSpot will hook you up.
I know, like GameSpot,
GameStop,
third party.
GameSpot we love.
you know,
GameStop is the store.
yeah.
Okay.
I wish Sony themselves would just do something unprecedented and be like, "Yo, trade in your old PS4
Yeah.
to us. We will give you a Neo for like half price or something." Just
Right.
Why are you
awesome.
giving your console to Sony? What are they going to do with your console?
You trade it in.
What do they want with it?
Goodwill.
Well, I mean, no, I mean
They just put it in a
could.
machine that grinds it up.
No, they could potentially sell refurbs too.
Yeah, but that'd be so many. I want to talk about games. I'm sick of talking about consoles. There are going to be games at this press conference. Mm-hmm. I guess the first one that comes to my mind, the first one I wrote down, is The Last Guardian. Probably just personal preference there. We're going to see The Last Guardian in a near complete form because
Right.
it is coming out this year.
But
Sony
Edge
can't
already
stop-
played it, right?
Edge has like that's their cover art, their big main story this month.
And then they were trying to be cheeky and called it Altered Beast, which I was like, well, I hope Sega doesn't bring Altered Beast out this year.
Not a great headline to be honest. Like not worth it. Why?
Everyone's like, "Oh, there's a new Altered Beast."
Trying to be cheeky. That's a perfect word for it, Blood.
I would have probably
Today's
done
word is
it. I probably would have done it.
Cheeky. So one of the bets I wanted to do that we didn't do today is will The Last Guardian unveil a new beast? Because all we've seen of The Last Guardian so far is Trico, is the big creature, and humanoids.
Didn't even think about that, Kyle.
Yeah.
If they had something like that, I would want them to
Trico.
save it for the game.
Yeah.
That's how it ends. That's how your trailer ends. Villainous Trico comes out. Mm-hmm. It's like, Last Guardian.
So he's
December
not
25th,
the Last Guardian. Well, we don't know who the Last Guardian is.
2016.
Oh, they're really pushing it. Is what you're saying.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
That's a lot of assumption on our parts to think that the creature is the Guardian.
Trico turns at the end and is like, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Got like a Santa hat on.
It has a hard time speaking because it doesn't have like a mouth with lips. Merry Christmas. Jones, what do you expect them to show of Last Guardian?
Everything that's not desert columns falling over.
Yeah,
you know, everything
we need
that's
that,
not
right?
this demo we've seen 5 times. You know,
Yeah.
like give me that underwater temple. Show me enemies. Give me like these
Enemies, yeah.
These soldier dudes. We see these armor soldiers walking around that people said like maybe there's nothing in that armor. Maybe no one is left in this world. You know, like just give me as many environments as you possibly can, and don't just have them be, you know, please show me something that we have not seen in any form at all yet.
It's gonna be hard not to go media blackout for this.
Yeah,
because
I
you
wanna-
feel like they're gonna bring their Uncharted 3 plane sequence. You know what I mean? That's what they're gonna show. They're gonna show their big moment of this game to really get people, because this is it. This is the final push, home stretch.
Well, but see, that would make me nervous if they're like, let us show you this cool part of the game. It's
going.
like, well, that to me, that suggests the opposite. Like, if you give me the trailer that shows me 20 different areas, okay, here we go. Wow, look at everything they finished. Where if you're like, well, immediately following the demo we showed you earlier, now you go into this hallway and there's a thing like, oh boy, you know, it's like, it's they're still working really hard on this other stuff we haven't seen yet. But I want a montage. I want a repeat of that first trailer. Again, I want picking up barrels and throwing them at him and having him eat them and swimming and, you know, stuff where you're super distant from him, where you're like trying to signal him from like a really long way away, and, you know, seeing him fight dudes. And
Can I just say that I'm really bummed they showed that last year?
Please say that. Why are you bummed they showed it last year?
Because it's been so long. Like, why bring it back if it wasn't ready to come out by now?
Goodwill to get people stoked on
Yeah,
PS4.
we haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. We know.
It came 1 year after IGN reported that it was canceled.
Hear that, Gabe Newell? Goodwill.
Yeah.
because I mean, it was the hat trick, man. They had Shenmue, Final Fantasy VII, and they couldn't help
Yeah, how
themselves.
can you
They
say
were like,
that, Blood?
I
oh, we're
don't
gonna
know.
have Fantasy 3 ever.
That's the thing. It's like, you know, having done, like, this is going to be my 15th E3. It's like,
Whoa.
well, you just,
Wow, smug blood.
like, it gets hard when, like, the games, like, this game that's going to debut, like, 90% of them are going to be games we don't see for at least 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. Don't get to play them. We get bored of them before we get to play them. And we have to, like, get ourselves excited again when they actually come out.
It is. That game is scary. Because it's been so long. And I can understand why, like, Valve hasn't shown Half-Life 3. It's just, like, these unrealistic expectations. Like, if Last Guardian isn't a 10, people are going to be disappointed. So
It's not going to be a 10. I really don't think it will be.
Just keep your expectations in check.
Yeah. What I like, Blood, about what they showed last year is that it wasn't too much. It wasn't the trailer that Jones is describing for this year. It was just, here's a tiny section. It's all continuous. They didn't go nuts. And I think that kind of helped it a little bit. Is they didn't blow their wad. They didn't blow their wad. Load is something else and very gross.
Hey, well,
their wad.
the Shadow was so good. Colossus was so good, and I remember at the time, you know, like I would have the conversation with people where they're like, I'm like, oh, what'd you play? And I'm like, oh, some cool. Oh my God, Shadow of the Colossus. Have you played that? And they're like, Shadow of the what? I'm like, it's called Shadow of the
Who are these
Colossus.
people?
It's made by the Team Eco people. I'm talking back in like
At E3,
05 or whatever. Like when it came out. Like I remember just at the time I didn't.
Who are you
it wasn't
talking to?
like just friends, PS2 owners.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I
it just
remember
wasn't
when
that
people were
thing.
playing it on the show floor. Like, I had no idea what the heck that game was, but, like, people were...
And like, yeah, and even if someone like had heard of it and they're like, oh yeah, Colossus, isn't that the big thing? You're climbing them and like, yeah, like, you know, chances were if you were like, it's the Team Eco people, they wouldn't be like, I love Eco. It's like Eco is,
Yeah.
you know, it kind of flew under the radar. Whereas like so much attention is on this game.
Yeah.
So I hope they're totally blind to expectations. I hope they literally, I think the most you could hope for this game is that they got to make the game they wanted to make.
I hear you.
You know, even if it was just kind of a cute, you know, puzzle adventure action game at the end of the day, like I'll totally take that if that was the game they wanted to make.
Let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, which was just delayed until February of 2017.
Knew that was gonna happen.
Was it actually delayed? I don't remember them having a real release date.
At the end of it,
It was said 2016 last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knew it was going to be delayed.
You knew it was going to be delayed?
Yeah, I remember I bet someone on one of these shows. I was like,
I'll buy it.
We didn't,
Horizon Zero Dawn, 100%. That's not coming out this year.
we didn't know Persona was going to be delayed.
We'll
I
get to
told
it.
Ben too. I was like,
We'll
Ben,
get to that.
dude, it's coming out. I said March for Persona.
So Horizon's a huge new IP.
Yeah.
It's just an enormous game. Oh, you're right, Huber. Of course it's going to get delayed. Yeah.
We haven't seen enough of it.
So a trailer came out this week. Do you expect Sony to push it hard at E3, despite it getting delayed till February? Do they have other priorities? Like,
I think a little like a quick little gameplay trailer.
I think it's gonna be really quick because it is weird that they pushed their own sick trailer outside of their own press conference.
Yeah,
That's
this trailer
crazy
should have
to
been
me.
at the press
No, I
conference.
mean, I think the trailer, the trailer is showing that they'll have it at E3. That like they're not just gonna let it go quiet. But I think that they will have another gameplay demo like they did last year.
You think someone will come out
That's
and
like
play
straight up, yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll probably some of the stuff they'll show will probably be more like some of the stuff that you saw last year that was behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But they'll probably go into some new environments and stuff.
A city. I want to go to one of those cities with the sweet elevators.
I know. It was looking.
Yeah, I
it
think-
was looking very Last of Us. It got me really excited.
Cool.
Well, actually, when Damiani was throwing up trailers during one of his streams yesterday, I think, and that was one of them, and it was like I didn't know what it was because I just like had it open another window. I was like, what's this? Is he playing an Enslaved trailer? What is it? Oh, it's Horizon. Okay, got it.
I'm sorry to go back to Neo for a second, but thinking of Horizon put me here.
Okay.
Oh, whoa.
Do you think all of the onstage demos are going to be running on the Neo, on the PS4K?
Who knows?
Like for Horizon, I think we do. I think we know it's
think?
going to be running on
Sure.
the... I think it's going to be...
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard because stuff that's in development isn't really running on hardware
in the
anyways.
first place?
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, that I have next to zero interest in joining that conversation.
Okay, so let's just move
Because
on,
it's like
Jones.
it
You're right,
doesn't
whatever.
matter. Like we're right. We're never gonna know.
I just want to play the game.
It's not going to affect any of our viewing experience.
wanna play the
but
game.
can I mean, I want to take it way back to Agents of Mayhem. To like, compare Agents of Mayhem. I mean, it's unfair to compare both of these games, but compare like the first time you saw Agents of Mayhem to the first time you saw Horizon,
Great
and compare
gameplay
the
demo,
compare the
sure.
amount of
Yes.
questions that you had.
Yes.
It's like we're done with Agents of Mayhem. You're like, cool, 3 agents, a doctor, and special powers, done.
Show
I
that
got it.
gameplay, baby.
And I can just imagine, Volition being like, yeah, but don't you want to know more? It's like, not really. I'm pretty set. I will accept more.
Jones
I
on
will.
fire today.
I will
Yeah, Jones-
accept more information.
He's ready.
If you have like, here's another Agents of Mayhem trailer. I'll be like, play that trailer. I want to watch that. But it's not like, finally, Whereas
Yeah.
like Horizon, I saw even just like a picture of it or something, and I came up with the tagline is it's like Earth isn't ours anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering like, God, what are these things? Like, did we? I think the big question I have is, did humans build these things and then the world was destroyed, or did humans develop a technology, then the world was destroyed, then these things created themselves?
Yeah, I wanna
then
believe
then
that
literally
second thing,
like
yeah.
these little. It's like I imagine something that's not. This isn't spoilers because I don't know this, but like. That it's not like Shodan System Shock thing where it's just like one AI, but like what if there's just little AI cores or something that like literally like metal just kind of ate and just evolved and created these
I
little
love
crazy
you
species
for
and
bringing up
things,
System Shock 2.
right?
I love you.
It makes me wonder. I see those things and it makes my imagination go off in a bunch of billion directions. Agent of Mayhem does not at all. Dead stop.
Here's a game
Imagination.
that might be able to open up a whole new world of imaginative opportunities. God of War. We got a new God of War game that will probably be revealed at this
I would
E3.
say, yeah, that's a sure thing.
I think that's
excited.
Yeah.
But I think that's a trailer, Jones, that could end with what you're talking about is some intrigue. I think that trailer could actually open up those like, oh, where are we? What's going on? If it's everything that was leaked, basically.
And God of War can make some trailers. God of War can do a gameplay demo.
Yes.
Big time. I've seen
that
some, yeah.
3 reveal still stands out to me as
Amazing,
the pacing is just incredible on that thing.
In engine, Huber. I mean, looks like it.
I really hope
more
God of War-
in engine than CG. So
I hope they do it like that though, where you don't even know it's God of War for a good minute and a half.
What are we watching for a minute if you don't know it's God of War?
Some crazy Vikings killing each other.
Uh-huh.
Some Greek god steps out. They're like, "What the hell? Who the hell are you?" He starts carving people up. Odin comes down. It's like, "Where the hell are you from?"
Yep. Chops them
my
all in
God.
half.
Oh my goodness. Possibilities for God of War endless.
Do you
Endless.
So what you described to me, Huber, sounds actually like a CG trailer.
No way.
Yeah, you just described a CG trailer.
Have you seen God of War's crazy set pieces?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you can do that so easily in game. Like, just think of the beginning of 3 with the
I wouldn't say you could do it so easily, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
It's,
easily.
it's, it's like Uncharted. It's a
not easily. Not
it's a
easily.
system benchmark. You really need to do gameplay on. Like, as much as I'm totally fine with CG stuff, like gameplay is the way to go for.
Oh, and you think about now too, like God of War 3 was kind of close to PS3 launch, kind of like ish.
I think it honestly
Not
it's like
that
2 or
early.
3 years
2 or 3
afterward.
years.
Yeah.
It's like we're
Yeah.
just getting
because God of War 2
at
was
least 3 years.
after the PS3 came out.
exactly
Yeah.
yeah. But and now that PS4 has been out, like we are getting into the power of these machines. I'm just so ready to see God of War and what they can do.
Yeah, I think honestly what you're describing is they should show that first level.
Yeah,
The first level of God of War games
yeah.
are so
you
intense.
you show the intro.
Yeah.
Are we Kratos? Are we not? I would love to even play as some Viking guy, and you have to stop Kratos the invader. You know, you make Kratos the villain.
That's why this leak is.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's probably why it was Nerd Leaks were the ones that were shut down. That's
Yeah.
probably why, because it probably was planned to be something like that, where you here's some Viking game. What the
Yeah.
heck? Now everyone's gonna know.
Oh, we all know. We'll know from the
Well,
start.
because
So we-
Jaffe's original thing was he wanted Kratos to go and like kill all the gods of all the
Sure.
religions.
But I mean,
Yeah.
if you just without that leak, if you just saw some Viking game pop up,
It would
at
be
Sony
like
press
Viking
conference,
game. We
Yeah,
got Viking
Vikings,
games.
you had no
Ooh,
idea,
You're right, Blood.
and then all of a sudden there's Kratos, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's gone.
Nerd Leaks robbed that of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Jones is pissed.
It's their
spoilers.
journalistic requirement. Just ask Michael Damiani.
So
It's their jobs.
You know what's weird is
So
I
wait,
have.
go
Go ahead. What's
Are
wrong?
we still on God of War?
We can stay on God of War.
Really quick.
My
really
phone's
quick.
off, man. We got plenty of time.
Okay, really quick. It's been a long time with that franchise.
Yeah.
The last one, Ascension, was not well received. It was average game. Mm-hmm. Is there not a lot of hype for God of War right now?
I think they're close to a blank slate. I think they can really write their own checks now for this project. Like
Absolutely.
I think, which is why I think the best thing is to try, if you can, to, even if 10 seconds into the trailer, like you're like, oh, what is this? And it's so obvious. It's the end of the show, and we all know what it is, but you still don't know. I mean, you still don't. What does he sound like? You know, what is he like? I think they could. I think they could do an Uncharted 4 tease with him just waking up on the beach and walking into a jungle. That's it. Title.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that still got you hyped. You know, like, and that,
Well,
was,
the
that was
first-
very little. You know,
The
like
first
Yeah.
teaser was just his face, right? It was just like
Yeah.
the eyeball.
I think just pile of bodies, you know, and just going up, and you see the screams and
Pile of
echoes and all this
bodies.
stuff, and you're seeing all these like severed limbs and all this crap, and then you get up to like Odin or somebody who like see like what happened here, and then sees him like, who are you? Cut to black.
Yes.
My name is Kratos.
No,
Yes!
the game needs to
God
come
of
out
War.
this year. I don't think you do your teaser this year if it's coming out this fall.
Oh my god, if it's God of War coming out this year, you're freaking me out.
I think it
can't
has
handle
to.
this.
If you push Horizon out
can't
of your
handle
holiday
it.
season, what do you got? What do you got left?
You got God of War.
You have to. I don't know. I honestly think it has to come out this year. Here's the thing, though. I think Kratos has to be different. I'm sorry. I'm throwing in an editorial right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think much like we've kind of grown past Marcus Phoenix, I think also we've
Yep.
grown past Kratos. I think he's got to mature.
You're right. Because there wasn't that much growth. 3, he was still just so angry.
Yeah.
It was so one note.
But he had
They
like he was protecting a little girl or something, right?
because it reminded him of his daughter,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
kind of
They
had
tried
it.
something
they
there.
tried like it
Yeah.
was better than 1 and 2 in terms of trying to care about this crazy character, but yeah.
You can't come at us with "I'm so angry."
Well, and like Jones said, though, clean slate. Like he, God of War 3 ended and happened. He can come back as a new person and
Sure.
reinvent himself.
Yeah.
What if it's just called God of War? Like Battlefront.
No.
God of War, PS2. Star Wars Battlefront, PS2.
Yep.
It's about that time.
Battlefield
Yeah.
1.
It's like Hitman.
Yeah.
Hitman, all caps.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Tomb Raider.
The God of War. You throw that thing in there.
Ooh, yes, the God of War. You got me on board, Hubert.
Okay, let's
Always
do
throwing
it.
it the-
Let's do it.
So, I want to talk about an annualized franchise. I wrote this down under Sony because now Sony presents this like it's a big deal. Call of Duty. So, Call of Duty has shifted from what used to be a huge part of the Xbox press conference to now I feel like it's a mandatory part of the Sony press conference.
Yeah.
Now that they have the deal, they kind of like, oh, I guess we have to do this 10-minute demo as part of our press conference now, you know? Do we feel that way, or do you think they'll spend less time, or do you think that it could actually be exciting?
That's 3 different questions.
Yeah, which question are we?
Whatever you feel like. I guess.
Is it going to be exciting? Is a whole different can of worms.
Let's talk about that. Actually, it didn't occur to me until I was like rambling off there.
Esports.
Whoa.
Are pretty gnarly right now.
Wait, what?
Esports.
Do you mean gnarly isn't like positive as we're like skateboarders in the 80s?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
They're gnarly
doing
right now.
sick
like when you're
grinds.
dropping in,
Great.
Dropping in, sick grind, sick jumps.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to some like multiplayer match of Call of Duty, and if they like reinvented it.
You have Jones shaking his head.
Oh,
at
they're
you.
going to show you the space. You're going into space.
Jones
Come
just
on.
typed SMH.
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
his keyboard.
you're
Let's do it.
You're shooting some stuff up. The base is being attacked. You're going to be in a tiny vehicle. The back door's going to open up. You go, oh, look at all the ships. And then you got to get into that building. Run to the building. Run.
Jones, come on now. We don't want the same thing
We
again.
finally get to the building in the interest of time, and then we cut. It's 10 minutes later, and now we're like finally getting out to the hangar. You get in the ship in real time. It flies out, No Man's Sky, goes up into the stars. Now, lasers. And then, it lands on a thing, and then, crashes into the camera. Infinite warfare.
We're like, Jones, what happened
This
is...
is
How about this?
control.
Here we go. I got a theory.
Help me. What's your theory?
Okay. We're going all the way back.
Whoa.
Going back to VR. Multiplayer battle in VR. Call of Duty.
The dumbest looking thing.
Every single person
Because
on
you know what's
stage
cooler
is
than
wearing
one
VR.
dude who can't
Morbius.
see the audience?
Yeah.
12 of them.
All of them. They're playing VR.
6 on 6.
6 on 6.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So... What Jones just like really bummed me out. He's got me to this point that I think we're so desensitized to cool things that there's nothing left that can impress us.
If everyone's on stage with Morpheus VR headsets,
Rivers, this thing is close.
I'm so in.
It's at least different, Jones.
Yeah.
It's different. I'll give you that for sure. Totally different.
Let's talk about Square Enix stuff.
Think about the implications of that, though. Like Call of Duty, if it went full VR.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Like, think about being able to move and control everything and look around. What that would do for competitive multiplayer. It'd be insane.
So, like...
They have a chance to do it. Let's go.
Speaking realistically, Huber, I don't think they can because of all the drawbacks you'd have to do technically. Yeah. So, like, Riggs is designed specifically for VR and it's just designed around it.
Yeah.
Just to make a custom...
Bringing them down.
Yeah, I know,
Bring me
but
down.
honestly, I don't think you could do that with Call of Duty multiplayer.
All right.
I'd be impressed. If they do it, I'd be impressed.
Yeah. Then it would be
The
like,
thing
all right,
is
here we go.
you have to. It's almost like mouse and keyboard. You have to have a VR mode.
Yeah.
You can't just stick somebody in a multiplayer with VR on. Like that's not gonna work.
Under
Yeah.
advantage.
It would not be right.
Yeah. That's because
Alright.
now you have like 3 different points of reference. It's like you have where you're aiming, you have where you're walking, and you have where you're looking. So you can be walking forward and looking the other way, and do all kinds of crazy weird stuff.
What I did want to talk about next, though, is Square Enix, because Square Enix was a little weird this week. Put out 2 big trailers. Does not have a press conference this year, as they did last year.
Right.
I suspect they're going to drop some pretty big stuff during the Sony press conference. But what we saw this week, I don't know, we can talk about that stuff later. But I want to talk about what they'll show, maybe, at E3. We don't know any of these things. But, as we said earlier, we saw the reveal trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake at last year's E3. At PSX, we saw the first gameplay ever of Final Fantasy VII Remake. We got to see more of that game at E3, right? Or no? How do we feel about that? It's going to disappear for a while.
Episode 1, you own the episodic nature of that game.
Own it up. Okay.
And you put a window, like a year, 2017, I would assume.
You put it, putting a
Final
date on
Fantasy
it would be
VII.
huge. Really wouldn't matter
Episode
what
1.
you'd show. A release date would be bigger than anything you're already showing.
I think you're right. Absolutely. Well, no, show us. I bet a summon. You always keep the summons in your back pocket.
Sure. I think you're depleting your value every time you bring us back to the game and show us stuff.
Have we seen Sephiroth yet?
No.
Oh, we're gonna see him. He'll be there.
Yeah.
He'll
Well,
be at E3.
Sephiroth at E3 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's not even worth betting on.
Yeah,
It's an instant
it's a
deal.
lock. It's
Yeah,
a lock.
he's a lock.
Not only at E3 and in a trailer form, but like some giant freaking Sephiroth statue is gonna be in the booth.
I thought you were gonna say,
Yeah.
you were gonna say cosplay. He comes
With
out.
his stupid sword.
Yeah.
His sword that's like 8 feet long.
Yeah.
Sure.
Breaks like on stage.
Some Disney guy. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 3. Do you think we'll see that?
Yes, I think because last year with the whole big surprises, Last Guardian, Final Fantasy, Shenmue, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 this year is going to be one of the big reveals.
It could be. Kingdom Hearts 3 has not had a good trailer since the reveal trailer.
I'm ready for huge.
We've seen cool things in the media they've released, but the media itself is not very compelling.
It's been bad trailers. Right. They haven't really been on point.
The like ship one was weird.
Yeah. They need to get it together. I'd really like to see that at E3.
And actually, I remember seeing the one with, of course, I don't know the characters' names, but like the two guys that playing chess. And they're talking to each other and like...
Oh, it's like a flashback.
And like, I know, but like...
So is one of them Xemnas?
Right, like I'm so distant from that franchise, but like, working on the timeline so much with Damiani, like there was that part of me that's like, oh wait, this is actually a very important conversation that's happening right now.
Yeah.
This is actually a very big moment.
We will be keymasters someday.
Because it's that moment, it's Xemnas and, I don't know if it's Xemnas, but I know one of them is Xehanort. Like one of those people is Xehanort. And it's like, it's kind of like... It's kind of like going into episode 3 with Star Wars. It's like we never saw that chapter. We knew Anakin fell, but we didn't know how exactly. Like what was the moment where he was like, "Oh, I'm going to study that, or I'm going to get my answers there." There's like a hole in the life of Xehanort that we need to fill.
Oh, Jones, I bet that scene's like 5 minutes, and then it's all present stuff after that.
Dude, I don't know. It's such an effective way of storytelling, like look at Uncharted 4, just having multiple timelines.
Xehanort playable character would be honestly, badass. Especially
in the past, you get his motivation.
That would be wild. That'd be wild. If you go back,
That's what
from
I'm
his
talking about,
perspective.
Jones. Here we go. Dreams, baby.
Kyle's face.
Yes.
Playable Xehanort.
Yes.
That would be bold.
Lock it in, folks. Playable Xehanort.
Can I be mean? Can I be mean as playable Xehanort? Can I go to Winnie the Pooh's world and like kick him around?
No, it'd be like
his fault.
Siri. It'd be like it's Siri. Wait, what's her in
That's her
Witcher?
Name?
Siri?
Yeah, her name is Siri.
Yeah, it'd be like her. So you like, I'm gonna throw you to Xehanort, and there's a hallway, and at the end of the hallway, some story, and then you're done. You know, it's like in a very specific spot where you can like have a little interaction maybe with people, but yeah,
press square to kill.
Not impale poo on your giant sword.
All right. Very recently, Final Fantasy 15 had an event all of its own. Mm-hmm. Do you think we won't see much of it at E3 because of that?
Yeah, it's hard to say because that game I feel like we've seen a lot and not a lot at the same time.
Like the last demo, right?
Yeah.
How weird is that?
It
was a tech demo.
Airships.
Are you, Huber, I know you're media blackout. Are you willing to get the answer to this?
I mean, if I'm sitting it like a media blackout, but if they show it during the press conference, I will watch.
Do you want me to tell you something right now?
I remember there was something about airships. Like they're trying to make them.
The car transforms.
The car. I did hear that. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's what they're doing with that.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
And we have seen airships, like him and his little sword trick. Like he has done that to flying objects that are like flying over the city. Mm-hmm. There's still some shots that they've shown from that game where I'm like, that cannot be real. I hope it is.
It's real, man.
What on earth am I looking at right now?
Dude, that first 15 trailer, when it turned to 15 at the end?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, tough.
Shenmue 3, is that worth bringing back to the press conference, or do you just kind of let that ride now that it's funded?
I say let it ride.
Baby.
I say...
Trailer. Here we go. Goodwill. Silence all the people that were like, oh no, it's Kickstarter. This is stupid.
You can't silence them. What can you show those people that would silence them?
Nothing. You have a Shenmue 1 and 2 HD.
Oh, that's on Sega, though.
Everyone on board.
Sega. Everyone makes fun of how I say Sega. Sega.
They're doing it. They're getting everyone caught up.
The commercial goes, Sega! It doesn't say, Sega!
I didn't hear any difference between the two words.
Merry Christmas!
When you play Sonic. Sega.
Yeah.
It's weird because, like... I have a feeling that no matter how much they do with Shenmue 3, like it's just a game that because of the budget and the Kickstarter and everything, like it's not going to be the most impressive looking game.
Oh, it's looking good, Blood. It's looking good.
I thought the same thing until they showed a 40-second trailer of a house in Unreal Tech, and I was blown away.
Game's looking good, Blood.
I never even thought it would look half as good as it looks. Okay. It looks awesome.
Then I think if that's the case, then I think they will very specifically do the callback then. Like if the game looks good and we can say like last year we invited you to kickstart this and now here's what we've gotten a year.
Let's go ahead and present it, Blood. I like that.
God, they're showing gameplay.
I don't like it.
They're showing it.
I don't like it.
You don't think they're going to show gameplay?
I think retreading Final Fantasy VII and Shenmue and Last Guardian is just a little too much of a sequel to last year.
Announcing games that aren't coming out this year.
Yeah, but I did bring this up.
Whoa.
And just specifically,
are you complaining that there are too many great games?
I'm not complaining.
No,
I'm not complaining.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm just saying
that some of these games bleed year to year.
I'm saying if you go back and do sequels to your 3 best moments from last year's press conference, it has the potential of me comparing these moments instead of just enjoying the new games. Me remembering like, oh yeah, I remember when Shenmue 3 got, the announcement last year was way better than this. And it's like, well, there's no way it could be. Of course it is. Nothing can beat that, ever.
No, but Shenmue, I think, is different than the other two because we haven't seen actual gameplay. We haven't really seen a trailer. And I think that is something that could easily show up. And I think it would be an awesome gift to all the Kickstarter fans that have backed that game. It's been a full year now, full calendar year. Just give us something, like let us see the game in motion, even if it's for like 30 seconds or a minute.
Yeah, it's
like
tricky.
Final Fantasy 15, there's so many trailers.
Well, it's tricky because you said like it's a gift, and I think it's on the Kickstarter itself to then show its audience through the Kickstarter or through their website or something. But like tacking on to the Sony conference a second time, or just like. That's what you do. I mean, you figure out what ship you want to sail on to E3, and just actually like, just only because it's Kickstarter, only because they didn't know if it was going to happen when they actually presented it last year. It's like I don't know if they're in a position like a Square Enix, Team Trico to like actually prepare with enough time for the conference to have something that's worth showing.
I don't know.
You're right. It's going to be tough.
I think they're playing a different ballgame.
I think they're gonna. Honestly, I think there's going to be a huge chunk of this press conference devoted to Tomb Raider. I think you get more mileage out of showing Shenmue than you do showing Tomb Raider. You know what I mean? I think like people are into it now. I think if you're looking at like directing a show, making your press conference into a show, that's a hit. You know your fans like it. If you're doing a concert, heck yeah, you play that song.
Play that song, Jones. Show me that gameplay, and then be like, hey, catch up with Shenmue 1 and 2 HD. Boom. That's how you do it.
We made the contracts happen.
Yes.
So, I want to stop talking about that Sony press conference.
Okay.
I'm getting out of control.
So Hubert, are there any other games we didn't talk about in that conference?
Yes!
Persona 5.
What? Persona 5? Do you think that'll show up in that press conference?
Yes.
That's the only place it's going to show up.
They've been ignoring it so far. So far, they refuse to talk about it in their press conferences.
Here it comes.
So weird.
But it's coming out in Japan.
Uh-huh.
We have a U.S. date.
Sure.
It's way too long after the Japanese date, but whatever. But this is the time to get people on that bandwagon, and I think that there is so much, buzz around that game that it's time for them to show something. I think it is visually a lot different than most of their lineup, so it can stand out on its own. And that game hasn't been really overexposed. They've been very trickling it out. So I think there's a good shot at showing something cool from it, even if it's just the trailer.
I really do appreciate their restraint with Persona 5 so far.
Oh, yes. Forgot a big one.
Okay, what?
Ni no Kuni 2.
Hey, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's showing out.
I think...
Uh-oh.
I think that one could...
Reel me in.
I think that could be saved for PSX again, possibly.
Okay, that could disappear for a while?
Yeah.
Like Raw and SmackDown.
I was shocked by how much they showed with that debut trailer. They showed so much.
Yeah.
And that must be so odd. Like, every time I think of Ni no Kuni 2, I think of, from their perspective, like, wow, people care.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, we do.
Some executive had no idea. Yeah.
Oh.
Because what? They ended PSX on Battleborn, didn't they?
Paragon.
They ended it on Paragon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And
sometimes, they don't know. Sometimes they don't know what we care about. Yeah, for sure.
Also, another big one, Resident Evil.
No.
What do you mean, no?
No.
Rings his hint.
Don't you do this.
Resident Evil, it's gonna come.
Resident
Evil 2 Remake is announced and confirmed. Resident Evil 7 has been highly rumored.
I see. You think we're talking about the Xbox press conference. No, that'll happen earlier during the Xbox press conference.
You think it'll be Xbox?
No, I think actually Dead Rising 4 basically leaked. I think that's going to be at Xbox.
Wow.
Yeah,
and shoot. Yeah, Hubert, you're probably right. Resident Evil at Sony.
Resident Evil, this is insane.
Yeah, I wouldn't put a bet on what form of Resident Evil we see, but I'm sure we'll see some form of Resident Evil. But with the whole anniversary and everything happening,
Oh my god.
2 Remake, I think, was announced long ago.
Yes,
long enough
it's
where they
been a
probably
long
have
time.
something to show.
Oh my god.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Freaking out right now.
So later on,
can't.
You
later
better
on in
freak
the
out
show-
about on something. People are paying good money for this E3 coverage, Huber.
Resident Evil 2.
Your ass better freak out.
Jones, Resident Evil 2 is my favorite game of all time. Number 1. Like, people always ask that question, what's your favorite
Yeah.
game? Everyone's like, oh, well, this.
You got an answer.
That is my definitive answer, and I don't think it'll ever change. Like, I've played that game 200 times. That is like... Everyone likes games for different reasons too, and like nostalgia plays a big part. It's like just my whole life I've been playing that game, and it's like so intertwined in my body. It's like remake, dude. It's gone. God.
Do you hear that? It's podcast halftime.
Dude, I need it. I need some Gatorade.
Yeah, me too. I love some Gatorade right now. We're sweating in here.
Yeah.
Easy Allies, podcast halftime. Whoa. The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of May. No, June!
It's June, baby.
June!
June, baby.
June! Michael Kazachenko. Michael Favacci. Mango.
Nice.
Scorn, an atmospheric horror adventure developed by Ebb Software, set in a nightmarish universe of odd forms and somber tapestry. Go to scorn-game.com for more information. YoYoTricks.com, a tutorial website for teaching people how to yo-yo. To buy yo-yos and learn how to get started, visit YoYoTricks.com or their YouTube channel. All of these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
Yeah.
Jones, I have a question.
Voices are fun.
What is Mango? That's a new one.
This is the guy, right?
Mango's the guy.
Oh, Mango is a man.
Mango our Mango our
is a man.
Patreon friend. Mango our Twitch and YouTube friend.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mango is a name I recognized.
To me, it sounds like a brand of like soap, dish soap.
Sure.
Like we're sponsored by Mango this week.
Anyone?
Oh, okay. Huber's offering.
Very casual. No, I'm good.
Podcast halftime.
I
guess,
Podcast halftime.
I guess you can grab a water.
Yeah.
I prepared beforehand and got myself a water
Sorry.
to
professional.
prevent this moment from happening, but that's okay.
I'll take advantage.
No,
No, that's cool. Yeah, that's fine.
that's
it's
unprofessional.
cool. Yeah, it's all right.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mango, for giving us $500 a month. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, we should. I mean, why not say right now that we're at patreon.com/easyallies? Why not promote it whenever I get the opportunity to?
Yeah. Actually, one thing I can bring up to the panel, somebody pointed out, which is true, that kind of funny on their podcast, every 5 seconds, it's, Patreon. Like, they have lower thirds constantly running throughout the show. It's just like, just in case.
Yeah.
So we should do it once or twice.
Sure.
At least.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I almost never explain. I've done it like twice in the 11 episodes we've recorded of the show. Explain that you get it earlier if you spend $5 or more on our Patreon.
Yeah.
You get this podcast on Wednesdays as opposed to Fridays. That's pretty
Well,
cool.
you get it before Friday.
Well, blood.
You insist that the
Oh,
green
that's not
lizards
real.
do their
Hold on.
little sound effect, and yet the fact that we're on Patreon is a moot point. I mean, it's
To me, it's not fun
To me,
because is fun.
Right.
Like Patreon is like it's not fun to try to like sell yourself every week and tell people to give us $5 a month. There's no fun in that.
says Kyle.
Sorry.
Did I just had some fun?
You did a good job. Yeah,
Thank you,
that was a good
everyone,
voice.
so much. I
Yeah,
love
thanks,
you all.
everybody.
Seriously.
I do want to talk about
E3 right
Nintendo.
now. It's insane. This is insane.
Oh, you're stuck on our Patreon and how generous everybody is.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're here. We're talking about E3.
Yep.
They're allowing
You know,
us to do this.
They're they're thinking of their dreams right now, getting excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
So, here's a source of disappointment for me of many months this year. Nintendo. And Jones, they've actually backpedaled. Nintendo will be showing more at E3 than Zelda. They've just announced that last week. Previously, it was stated E3 will only be Zelda for us. We're showing nothing but Zelda, baby. Zelda, Zelda, Zelda.
Now
Yeah.
Okay, because it doesn't feel like backpedaling to me. It feels like they were lying before. Like
Sure.
That's how it feels. It feels like they wanted they wanted to get noticed. Like they wanted to, like, I think they said that knowing full well it wasn't going to happen, but they were just like, let's get a little spotlight. I from my perspective, what I am seeing is a company selling a game harder specifically for the show E3 than any company I have ever seen since going to that show. I've never seen a company just being like, this.
Well,
like,
apparently they're not doing that,
more
Jones.
than anything else.
Apparently
so
they're
when
not
they
doing
said, I didn't think they were. I didn't believe that for a second. When they first
yeah.
said that, I was like,
But
and not to pat myself in the back, but I think if you I think if you check the tape, I think at the time I was like, "There's no way."
What you said, Jones, is you said if they're only showing Zelda, I will stand in front of their booth and give them a round of applause.
I remember that. Yeah, that was the best.
That is what Jones said. I think he saved himself that moment. Yeah.
Golf clap.
I think there may be. I think there may be a little fence riding here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like in some years past, because we're talking about stuff they're showing on the Treehouse stream, right?
Yes. Let me say the times and everything first.
Sure.
So this will be Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time on June 14th. Zelda, though, that now will kick off with the first ever gameplay of Pokemon Sun and Moon. So previously what was advertised as the Zelda stream now apparently kicks off with Pokemon. That's crazy.
Good opening
That's pretty
act.
weird. That's pretty weird.
It's a great opening act, but yeah, it's a weird switcheroo. And then Blood, the next day at 10 a.m. we're getting a Pokemon Go Q&A. Mm-hmm. We're getting Monster Hunter Generations, Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions at least. That's what they've promised. That's what changed this week.
So here's why I think they may be fence riding.
Yeah.
I think both of these statements may possibly be true. We'll see when we get on the show floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Because none of those other games that you said make sense to like walk up and try to play for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, certainly. That's impossible to show at E3, I think.
Dragon Quest VII, though, that's a 150-hour game.
Yeah, maybe Monster Hunter Generations, but you made a great point, Blood. Yeah, those are all pretty long RPGs.
And so it's like, why put a bunch of 3DS stations and take up that space when you can give people more Zelda stations because you know they're going to be clamoring around that, rather than, having, like basically people manning stations trying to entice people to play these games.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying Jones might still have to stand in front of their booth and give them a round of applause?
Oh man, I want to film this.
It seems to me like they're achieving what I have never heard ever happen at E3, which is that every single human being, every organism on two legs that walks into that convention center is going to walk out having played Zelda.
Yeah.
And that's unprecedented. Like, there's always some game you miss. There's always something you got to check in with your friend. And like, oh yeah, I just didn't. I mean, Bloodborne looked cool, but I played it at PSX, and the line was, or Dark Souls 3 looked neat, but I just didn't want to wait 2 hours, to play that. So I had to make decisions. But it's like, I mean, day 3, let's go to Zelda.
Yeah.
I didn't play all of it. The fishing part I missed, and the horse riding gazebo that they built or whatever. I missed that thing.
Horse riding gazebo.
Does that make any logical sense?
Yeah, what are you imagining when you say horse riding gazebo?
What I'm imagining is that there are multiple areas, and that each of the areas have 6 to 8 kiosks.
Oh, so I walk into
all
a physical
focusing
gazebo.
on a very specific part of the game.
Yeah, all right.
So you literally go into the opponent room, and they're like, "Oh, here we go," and they're like, "Okay, now," literally, I can't even get Zelda off the horse. Like, all I'm doing is riding, or I can't even get Link off.
I
Boy,
picture-
I just
Maybe Zelda.
that was
Zelda might be there.
Yeah.
I picture
Don't know. You could play as both.
I picture a blacked out booth.
Binkle.
You go in, pull the shades, and you have one co-pilot guy or woman, whatever. You got a Nintendo employee there, helping you through, and they
I
just
don't
say,
want
"Go
that
play."
person. Oh, do I hate that person?
Well, they're not
Yeah.
like backdoor gaming. They're just say, "If you have any questions, let me know," and they're just standing in there.
Oh, I'd like that. Yeah.
and then
yeah.
you just play the game. For
They
30
never
minutes.
do that.
They-
What do you want to know about the potions? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, no.
I just think I keep getting the Metal Gear Solid 4 E for All vibe from it. That's what
Okay.
I want.
All right.
So Metal Gear Solid 4, they took you into a trailer, put on headphones, you had your own little booth, and they said play for 20 minutes. So I'm really hoping
I would
you
love
do.
headphones. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get in that world.
But are you thinking like a Universal Studios type? You're in line and it's like play 5-10 minutes here, play 5-10 minutes here.
Yeah.
And just
Well,
kinda-
it's a demo. It's like when you go to a booth, you see the game, they have that demo. Zelda will have multiple demos. Okay. It'll have like, if you want to, okay, now you waited in line an hour and you did that thing. Now you can get in another line, wait again for an hour, and do a whole different part of the game.
So what they've promised so far is there will be at least 2. What they've said so far is there will be 2 demos that take up 90 minutes to play them both. Is what they basically
90
said.
minutes each or total?
Total.
So 45. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. I'm going to probably spend most of Tuesday in that booth.
Because there's so much mystery around it and the legacy and it's
Yeah.
Zelda. It's it's
I make fun of them so much,
you bring
but yeah,
you
I'll
bring
be there.
Dark Souls 3 like you were saying. It's like it's Dark Souls. Like I know what's up.
We have no idea.
Zelda's so mysterious.
Yeah.
Oh.
We have no idea. But people get mad when we talk about Nintendo too much, so we got to move on. Plus, there's like no news really there other than like, no, we are doing other games. Like, oh, why then? Why? What I want to do now is talk about other games that may appear in press conferences, may not, announcements that may come. This one will absolutely come with some point before the next week is over. Injustice 2 was leaked earlier today. This kind of makes sense. We just finished, basically, NetherRealm is on this weird alternating Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Mortal Kombat, and now Injustice is coming. The image we saw includes...
Wait, what was between the last two? There wasn't anything between the last two Mortal Kombats.
It was MK9, Injustice.
MKX.
Was it?
Yeah.
And then now Injustice. Yeah.
I thought, okay.
Yeah, they're on the...
I thought, for some reason, I thought that Injustice came before.
There was Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot about that game.
Yeah, which is just like, man, that's weird. That's weird that game existed, but it got us here, I guess.
Bizarre.
So I'm honestly thinking that the debut of Injustice will be at the end of the tournament. That is this weekend. Is that Saturday?
Right.
I think that's when they're going to unveil that. That's my prediction on that. Is that a big announcement? Injustice 2. Oh boy, Jones, huge Batman fan, is rolling his eyes.
They only got halfway. I rolled them halfway and they looked straight up because I was like, I don't know. It's
okay.
No, because it's a sequel to a game that you get it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like all the, they all get infected by red glowing stuff that makes them evil, and I can't remember if that was the plot of Injustice. That was the plot of DC versus Mortal Kombat. But I mean, DC's making a huge play to try to create. Just like Marvel's doing, where it's like we're getting an Iron Fist show and a Luke Cage show and everything. Like we're Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna have a sequel very soon. It's like we are now exposed.
Marvel. Why are you talking about Marvel right now?
Because we are now now we know who Jessica Jones is. That's crazy. Like that's where Marvel's at. Where I can say the name Jessica Jones and you're like, huh. Whereas like I say the name Martian Manhunter and people are like, who are you talking about? And like he's in the Justice League. Like he is a very important character in the DC universe. He's like Thor level. And everyone knows Thor. We're sick of Thor by now.
Yeah.
But DC's like, they're trying to play catch up.
I think even
and
like Aquaman. They're like, who? Yeah, I think
it's like, get the Flash out there, get Green Arrow out there, get the, like reintroduce them to these people. So by the time we actually make the, god awful sequel that we're going to get to, Batman versus Superman, when they actually finally make this horrible Justice League film, they want you to know as many of those characters as possible. So I could see the full green light happening where they were like, oh yeah, DC fighting game, do it. Let's get everybody in there, remind everybody who everyone is.
What I find
which is
exciting
hilarious
about
Luther's like way cooler in the Injustice than he is in the movies.
Way cooler. Should have been Cranston. What I find way cool about NetherRealm's fighting games is the integration of story. Like that's what I get into.
They do way better than they should, or way better than I think the game deserves.
But I think Mortal Kombat. Do we call it X or 10? I think we call it X. I think that's what they want.
Yeah, X. I think so.
Mortal Kombat X, sold ridiculously well.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this game sells well, and I think it's on the back of its story. I think it's on the back of just introducing like these characters and bringing them in through a fun story. Also, there's just a ton of... I love the crypt.
Yeah.
I know the crypt has some real sketchy microtransactions, but it was this cool first-person, strange, sometimes puzzle game, just unlocking things within this weird other world. I dug it, and I'm so like, if Injustice can bring that stuff, I'm in.
Yeah, they had like little stealth missions with Catwoman.
Really?
You like had to go from the left screen to the left side of the screen to the right, and like dodge stuff, like jump over stuff and crawl under other stuff.
I'm in for that.
I love Mortal Kombat. I love Batman and DC, but I don't love these games together.
Why?
Well, first of all, it's a Mortal Kombat game. It's T for teen with no fatalities. I'm out. Period. Done.
I hear you.
I'm done. Next. Like, I'm not playing a T for teen Mortal Kombat with no blood or no fatalities.
Not
doing it.
The only thing I think they might one up, that they might double down this time, is they know that they don't have gore. So like, what I could achieve by having the alien like rip a guy's head off of his body, they maybe one up by having Superman literally knock the guy into space and then fly up into space and then pound him back down to Earth. Like just the scale of the
DBZ
of not necessarily the fatalities, but even like transitions to other battlegrounds and stuff.
Or are there fatalities in Injustice 1?
Sure.
But they're like super tame. No gore.
It's
That's the word I was looking for.
The Joker, they had to pan away from his gun to even show.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
T for team.
T for teen.
I'm out.
It's probably going to be T for teen, Huber.
If they come,
Gotta let those kids know who Lex Luthor is.
if they come back brutal, rated M, I'm in.
Rated M only on PS 4K.
Or Scorpio. It's probably going to come out this year. I think it is, actually. Anyway, we talked about Bethesda. We never talked about this in particular, and now it's a rumor. Now it's probably definitely happening. A Skyrim remaster.
Ooh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
So,
don't make me play that game again.
Would you, Jones? Is Skyrim remaster a big deal? Are we still in love with that game?
Skyrim kicks so much. I mean, Skyrim's great. Skyrim's a very good game that I played a lot of.
Okay.
Skyrim was one of those games where I was like, stop playing Jones. You know, like, I gotta move on to something else.
Yeah.
Because when I played Oblivion, if there was a cave on that map, I did it, and I tried to do that with Skyrim. It was
Impossible.
like, this is
Too
ridiculous.
much. Too much.
Like 90 hours in, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
So you'd be hyped if they're saying it's coming out this year.
No, because I don't want to waste time playing
Okay.
Skyrim again. I would
Honestly,
that would turn me off just a little bit because it's like it's been a while. It's been a long time.
Quite a while, yeah.
I think it's like Red Dead levels of wanting a remaster.
I wonder if it's going to be coupled with Elder Scrolls 6. Like, I wonder if that's why. If they're like, hey, here's 6. Oh, and you know,
No,
get
I think
5
it's
now.
too early for that. They might. Even the tease, I think, is probably too early.
Yeah.
But I could easily see them doing Skyrim. And it doesn't really interest me that much because I played Skyrim on PC anyway. So.
Oh, okay. Smudblood. He's already played the
Me too.
HD version.
No,
of Skyrim.
Me too.
yeah, that's exactly
I'd
the
still be
thing.
excited.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's like okay, well, no, we'll put it on a console and have it look close to the version I already played.
But if they, I mean,
with PC mods now,
'Cause I
it's
remember-
insane.
but
yeah.
if they drop some co-op or something. or-
Fallout 4 has the mod support, right? So maybe they add some mod support in it too for
Sure.
console.
Yeah. That would
Now we're
change it.
talking.
Or like all like it's already packed in. Like literally the best mods for Skyrim are already in there.
And
The legal
support
ones.
for Neo. So if you have a 4K, yeah. So you
And
get something
VR,
that's
And
baby.
VR, I was just gonna say VR,
VR,
Skyrim
baby.
VR, let's go.
yeah. So there's a lot of potential
Everything.
for that.
Everything's VR.
And it's a big enough franchise for them to be able to sell a lot more copies, even if it's just a simple HD remaster.
So I have one last question. I don't know if this is offensive or not, as someone who doesn't really like Skyrim. Final Fantasy VII, when it came out, when it did, it's not even a remake. They just put it out on PlayStation 4, and with the PC had this as well. Cheats where they're like, hey, you put up your character to level 99, we don't care. Turn off random encounters, we don't care. So mods can kind of do things like that, but do you think Skyrim remastered would benefit from things like that?
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
So that would be cool. That wouldn't be, this is sacrilege.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's such an old game,
Yeah.
and if they're there, if you want to use them, cool. If not, cool. Not hurting anyone.
I think it would help it. I think
Yeah.
that would be a thing that you could put on the box.
Yeah, with mods, you just make it super playful.
Because everyone put their 500 hours into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You let
Yeah.
them just skip back to where they were,
Yeah.
basically, is how I feel about it.
Totally.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's talk about Sonic.
Sure.
I have a feeling Sonic's going to be at E3. I have a really good
Sonic
feeling
is at
about this,
E3.
everybody. Sorry?
Sonic is at E3.
What are you talking about?
They already announced it.
What do you know?
They said it like a couple weeks ago.
Who's they? And
Sega.
what have
Yeah,
they
what are you
said,
talking
They
Blood?
put out a press release.
And they said, we're going to be at E3?
Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice will
Oh
be
my
at
God.
E3.
Blood, how dare you? Oh, you had me hooked right on the cheek. How dare you? How dare you, Bloodworth?
Sonic Boom.
Okay.
Fire and Ice.
I've never been so trolled by Blood. Man. He had me sniffing the cookies.
What?
He had a warm batch of cookies.
Sonic 5?
I wandered right into that kitchen. Slammed the
Sonic
oven on
is
me.
there,
Oh my
and they've
gosh.
announced it.
No, Bloodworth. Obviously, I'm talking about a new Sonic the Hedgehog game that is not the 3DS
Kyle.
Sonic Boom game.
They're sharing the tiny booth with Atlas. If they have any kind of major Sonic game, I don't know, man.
But it's Sonic's anniversary. He's turning 20 years old, maybe 25. I honestly don't know how old Sonic is turning.
25
25
sounds closer.
right.
Yeah.
91.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Turning 25. He's getting old. Their Twitter account keeps teasing, hey, we got a big thing to show everybody. That can't be Sonic Boom. I'm still
It
seeing.
could be.
Dude, didn't somebody on
It could be.
Twitter just like make this big teaser and then it just turned out to be like a jacket or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not
happens
that's
all
not
the
Sonic the
time.
Hedgehog. That's not Sonic. I feel like a crazy man right now. We gotta
Yeah,
move
you're
on.
out of control
Because
right now.
I'm the only
You've
one.
lost it. Sonic the Hedgehog. He's washed up.
I haven't weighed on this at all.
He's washed up.
I will say, Sonic, if there is a new game, it
Yeah.
is like a new Sonic game. It's everything you want it to be, Kyle. That's
Yeah.
a horrible thing to announce during a press conference.
What?
Don't just throw Sonic at a crowd full of hungry journalists. You know,
Why?
like
He's
Why?
Sonic.
What
He's,
is wrong?
he's
He's going
Sonic
to
and Mario, man. He's the legacy.
You want a Skyrim remaster more than you want Sonic the Hedgehog?
yeah, Sonic.
yeah, if that's specifically your question. And you don't, I don't trust any room of those people, man, to just throw some Sonic at them. Like they'll laugh at you. They
What if
will
it was
like that trailer will
awesome-
end and people will crack up. You will hear people in the audience like, all right, okay, Sonic. Unless it's
Whoa.
amazing. Unless it's incredible.
It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Based on what track record?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You know,
Based
like
on my face.
that's great.
I like
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Let
And
him dream.
Shenmue 3 could happen. You know, it's like these things can happen.
Yeah.
I'm not betting on it.
What is
Wow.
going on with Fire and Ice, by the way?
That's weird.
It
We're
was
not.
just-
We're
that
pushing
game was-
2 hours on this show. We're not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea. I've not been looking.
That's not
Everyone,
good.
my phone is dead. I have no idea how far we are.
I think we're pretty close to an hour and a half right now,
Okay, so we should go straight to Love and Respect.
unless there's like a very specific Fire and Ice.
There's multiple things you forgot.
What?
Evil Within 2?
Well,
Lego-
we talked about Bethesda last
Lego
week.
Dimensions too.
We talked about. Oh, okay. Here we go.
But that's like-
So we
that's
haven't talked
probably
about
coming later
WB
this
too
week.
much. Yeah.
Do you think they'll do it too? Or do you think they'll do like piece on to what's already there?
It sounds like a 2. It sounds like they're going full board, and I think. I think in the first game, it didn't make sense why Wizard of Oz was in there, but they did tie the story through all of these worlds. So like, if the rumors are true of the crazy properties that I'm hearing are popping up in this thing, then I don't think they would just throw them all in there. I think they're gonna have another campaign.
I think 2 is the way to go. I mean, that's what Skylanders does. It's just like you want to buy a thing, you don't want to have to like download an update for it to work into the game. Yeah, obviously.
I also could see Lego Dimensions 1 launching with them already having handshakes with tons of other people and then being like, we'll do 2.
Yeah.
We're so close to getting them in 1, but it didn't work out. We'll put this on the shelf. I'll call you back in 2 months after the whole Lego Dimensions launch happens, and then we'll get you into.
I don't think 2 shows up in a press conference, which is why I like talking about these games. You know, game announcements happen outside of press conferences at E3, and I think Dimensions 2.
Maybe could be a fun play. Could be like the Fractured But Whole when that got announced. You know, like Ubisoft, just kind of like a little jokey thing. Now back to the serious stuff.
Sure. Yeah, Infinity was in Sony's press conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need that spot.
Do you think they'll be there this year?
Jones, I gotta be honest, I don't think Finding
No?
Dory is gonna get any like spotlight. I think Infinity is not gonna really get any attention.
You don't think the Finding Dory live playthrough?
If you haven't been to E3, Disney does it up. Disney used to go crazy at
Yeah.
E3.
Gone.
Oh my god,
Bye.
it sucks.
I love just staring at those
More
toys
booth.
with you, Jones. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
All the cool Disney swag you get at E3. Goodbye.
Well, who cares about that? That's all. That's things, Jones.
Bums me out.
That big media show that happens, Disney will not be there. Disney's like, oh no, we don't do that media.
I'm sorry, we don't do video
No,
games.
sorry. You might have seen our franchises there.
Yeah.
Great.
You may know EA is making Star Wars games now. We're like, yeah, we know. Sorry, did I forget anything else?
Dragon
Oh,
Quest
I'm
11.
sure. Yeah, all sorts of.
Oh
crazy
yeah, Dragon
stuff.
Quest 11.
Dragon Quest 11.
Actually, Hubert, I doubt we'll see Dragon Quest 11.
it's a TGS.
It's a
thing.
TGS thing.
It is. I know.
Yeah.
But I can hope.
Yeah,
It could be a PSX.
could be a PSX.
PSX. The new, replace Neo Kuni 2 at PSX.
Yeah,
You
a
get
little
Dragon
swapperoo.
Quest Swapperoo right there.
Get some slimes in there. Okay. All right, let's. Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much that we could have possibly. The whole list of games. rumors.
Onimusha. That'll be there.
It won't be there.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be there. It's time for, of course, Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
So Love and Respect is, of course, the segment in which we take questions and comments and suggestions from our $5 and up patrons on patreon.com/easyallies. There's a question. We have such good vibes right now. We got to keep rolling on this.
Yeah.
There is one question that I've been constantly receiving since the first episode of this show. And I've said no to that question.
Whoa.
I think it's finally time.
Okay.
I think it's
The
finally time.
show before E3.
Yeah.
Since episode 1, they've been asking this.
Yes.
This is intense. High stakes.
This comes from Joshua Turnera. Hello, Easy Allies. Last year, during Sony's press conference, Huber had a moment with Shenmue 3. As Kyle put it, all it took was 3 notes and a pedal. My question to the panel is, what game announcement would make you have your own Huber moment? We've been getting this one constantly. People want to know what would get us that excited at E3.
Nothing, like, that was it for me. Nothing could ever top it. Not Half-Life 3, not anything. And the reason is because I love Shenmue so much, and because of Yu Suzuki's desire to finish the story, that whole human element from, like, his point of view, and the fact that it was an unfinished story. So you're continuing the story, you're continuing the legacy. It's not just like, oh, like random remake of this or, you know, reboot of this. It's like continuing the game.
Yeah.
So
I do want to talk about that, Huber.
Yeah.
I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is like a perfect trailer. Yeah. I think that reveal is so good.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, Shenmue 3, CG, or we're out of here. Yeah. It wasn't that. They showed Yu Suzuki. They brought him out on stage
about it,
and they had a countdown.
That is when, like, I lost it emotionally, and then when he came out and started talking, it was like a whole nother level of emotion.
This person who's been beat down, a genius, a video game genius, working for Sega, making like creating genres over at Sega. You know what I mean? Just spending so much downtime. Yeah. And then just coming back and having an audience appreciate him, like that moment.
That must have been like for him. Oh.
You can't recreate that. But I'll still ask the panel, Brandon, Blood, is there anything what would be your Huber moment?
I mean, I think that's the hard thing is that there's nothing that has like those mix of elements. Because it has to be like not just something that's like your favorite franchise, but that's like something like that. That's like this is hopeless.
Yeah.
Like there was no reason Shenmue 3 should have been made.
Yeah.
That absolutely. Series was super expensive. Didn't sell anything. Yeah. Hardly anyone even played the second game. Why the heck would Shenmue 3 happen? You know, so it's hard because it's for me like, like Zelda and Metroid, but like I don't feel like those things would ever just like get thrown out in the trash, Yeah. And then, okay, like F-Zero or Wave Race would be awesome, but wouldn't excite me to that level hardly at all. I would totally love to see a new Wave Race with the same fundamentals and physics and stuff, but like with full on HD graphics.
You'd freak out, Bloodworth. F-Zero Wave Race comes out, Blood.
But it's not going to bring him to tears. But then he's not going to be crying.
Right. Yeah. And then the other thing is like
single tear.
A
stoic tear.
The Nintendo strategy says that we're not seeing anything like that. So it's so then it's like, well, what else is out there really that's been kind of dormant? And I just don't know. Like, there's anything that would really excite me to that level.
Yeah. Jones, is there anything that we could at least get a stoic tear out of you from?
Sure.
Oh, what do we got?
I think it's tough to recreate that. I mean, Red Dead 3 is what I always pine for, but like I like, there's so many damn rumors and like all this. It's like seems logically like something they're going to do. It's not a question of if, but when. So like that doesn't sound like, what Huber was like, why Huber was excited. And like for me, the only thing that comes close that's like something that I was expecting, something that had a story that was I got to the last chapter and it was ripped out of the book and I'm like, why the hell aren't we finishing this? From a genius developer, someone that can't seem to do any wrong when they're put when they're given the right project. A franchise that I didn't really care about until like people like forced me to play it. They were like, oh my god, you haven't played this game, you have to play this game. Half-Life 3. I mean, that like that, and I think the other thing is the pride that I felt in Adam, in Sony, in them realizing that this deserves a place on this stage. This will resonate with our audience. Not only announcing it, but when we announced it in the show, following what announcements, preceding other announcements, me just being like, well played, and like to have that be announced and to have Gabe like walk out and be like, we did it, like we knew, like, and have the trailer totally, like suggest like we get it. It's been a long time. Like it was a hardcore cliffhanger. Do you even know how episode 2 ends, Kyle? It is one of the most hilarious cliffhangers I have ever seen in a video game. Like,
what do you mean by hilarious?
In that
without
they
spoilers,
could not
without spoilers.
have. I mean, it is literally like if you saw Empire Strikes Back and then they were like, well, hope you like those.
So
You were like,
it's huge.
but Han's and Carbonite, we gotta go get Han. They're like, yeah, I mean, they probably rescued him. I mean,
We'll do it when we can. We'll get
fine.
around to it.
Jabba, they probably stopped him.
We're making MOBAs now.
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Emperor, like, I
Congrats.
get. Did you want to meet the Emperor? Was that important? Like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
And
I think it's worse than that.
if it just played on that, it's like that would be so great. But
It's not. It's one of those things. It's not an ending. It's just not an ending.
Sure.
Like,
Because episode 3 was announced. They had a date.
Right.
They had a date for 3
but I'm just saying,
expansions.
like, continuity wise,
Yeah.
we didn't get Half-Life 3. We didn't get an episode 3. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so perfect. And that
it was
I think that
set
was
up for what was next.
And I think
it
that
never
was
happened.
what everyone was thinking when Shenmue and Final Fantasy VII and Last Guardian happened. Was like, what's left? I don't know. Where's my list? It's like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
Like, Boys made that joke when he came back out. He's like, okay, well, there's a press conference. And so it's like that was the thing. When I thought, I'm like, what do we have left? Oh, well, duh, Half-Life 3.
Yeah. And it definitely comes from that similar situation of you think the company doesn't care.
Yeah.
We totally right now feel like Valve does not care.
Because like leaks frustrate me to no end.
Mm-hmm.
Like and like if someone leaked that, if somebody was just at Valve or something and they like mentioned something and like, if I like saw some Kotaku article that was like, hey, rumor is, I'll be like, how dare you? How dare you?
Oh my God.
Rob all of us of this moment.
Yeah.
Like, how
Yeah.
dare you? Like, just throw 3 paragraphs out, and that's supposed to even come close to the excitement, the electricity that an auditorium would feel, being like, oh my God, is this what I think? Fade to black.
God,
3. Like,
I would just scream down the street.
because I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't cry. No, like, but like, I would pull Bossman. I would get up on my chair
Yeah.
and I would scream, "What are you doing, you maniacs!" Like,
Yeah.
you actually pulled it off. Like,
Yeah.
well
If I
done.
could play
Now I'm
Damiani's
getting too excited.
advocate
It's
for
not
a
gonna
second,
happen.
though, Jones, I think that they've played along with it. They've played with everyone else for so long that maybe it is Kotaku's right to steal that from them. Because they've said Half-Life 3 or
Would
Half-Life
anyone
2 episode
believe
3.
Kotaku? Like, that's
I
the
would.
thing. These rumors have gone around
Right.
for the whole duration.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, there's no point in which, even if somebody put out an article, it's like, yeah, whatever. That's the same thing with the Shenmue 3 thing. It's like,
Actually, yeah.
I would not have believed anyone talking about
Well, yeah,
Shenmue 3
he-
until Shenmue 3
He
actually
tweeted a
happened.
picture of the forklift.
Yeah.
You were saying
Yeah.
forklift? Like, okay, you were.
Exactly. 7 Remake leaked on NeoGAF, and I was like, no, come on, please. Many did. That thread got buried because nobody believed in it. Yeah, that can happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we were conjecturing about how to do that trailer, right? Already.
Oh, I know. I mean, I got it. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just tough, and it's
Because he doesn't talk. You have a protagonist that doesn't talk, so it's got to be somebody else. But it's got to be somebody else that is older, so you don't recognize them. Possibly the same cast member.
I just can't even imagine the expectations because Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 were so ahead of the industry. It's like,
You can't be that. Yeah, you can't
How do you do that?
anymore.
And I kept
Yeah.
thinking, well, okay, VR is becoming a thing. It's becoming a thing. The logical move is, Half-Life 3 in VR. But now that's now that kind of seems normal.
But like, what's,
So it's like, how are you going to be ahead of the curve?
I feel like a lot of Half-Life 2 though is showing off their physics.
Oh, the physics was
Like the gravity
huge-
gun and like
Oh, it
everything.
was everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can see why VR would be another opportunity to just like, hey, let's just do stuff.
Yeah,
The playground is there just to show off the physics.
exactly.
And so I do feel like that could be that kind of thing. Let's just show off our VR.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Wait, no.
What?
What's yours?
I don't know. The game I'm bummed that ended on a cliffhanger is Mega Man Legends 2. 3 was announced, canceled hard.
Cool pick.
I don't believe in the new that trailer would have to be flawless for me to trust in it.
Right.
Okay.
If they're like, we pulled in Inafune, I'm gonna be like, no. Like there's so much that could go wrong with Mega Man Legends. It's a series I love. It's an adventure game. It's a Mega Man pretending he's Link. It's so good. But no, that ain't happening. I've accepted that.
It could happen, Kyle.
It could
Come on
happen,
now.
but it's also got to be good. Is the thing. It's got to come from that same heart and that same place. I'm not sure we could do that.
I'm all worked up now.
That was fun.
I'm like
Half-Life,
emotional
you want
about
it.
Half-Life
You're
3
ready.
now. Yeah.
I've been avoiding the question because I thought the answer would be no. I thought the answer would be like, no, we can't do it again. And we got some good answers. I appreciate that. Let's do. You know what? I don't want to do a quick one. We're having fun. I'm sorry,
This is a 2-hour
Jones.
show, Kyle. This is a 2-hour show.
I know we're over time. It's the last
an
show
E3 special
before E3, Jones.
But right, but you're digging through love and respect right now. You're not, it's not like one last E3.
But the thing is, people love and respect. They think that I blazed through it too fast.
Okay.
I'll do a quick one, Jones. Here we go.
I'll answer it slowly.
This is on Jones. This is his fault that we're doing a quick one. This is from Michael Agent. With Xbox and Windows merging, how can Microsoft justify the $60 cost? Thanks for taking the time. P.S. E3 of Dreams, Xbox Live goes free. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Is that a thing Microsoft could announce at their press conference? Would that be a big deal? And is it also a big deal? Yeah, we're getting the same games on the same platforms, but for some reason, if you have an Xbox, you have to pay money to play it online. Is that foggier now?
Is that
Sure.
Is that the case? What games? I'm trying to think about which games are actually.
Halo Wars 2 coming up.
Okay.
Want to play
but
Halo?
I mean, right now.
Halo
Like
5,
which Xbox?
didn't you need Xbox Live to play online?
Halo 5 is not on PC.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what PC game
Yeah.
do you use Xbox Live to play?
Let's say Gears of War 4, right? Like,
That's not out yet. That's what
Yeah.
I'm questioning.
yeah.
Is I'm not sure that precedent has been set, but I'm also like I'm hazy on that. Like I feel like I want to research this.
Fable Legends, I think, would have been one, but yeah, that
was
got
a free-to-play
canceled.
game.
Yeah. Oh, that was. Well, you would still need Xbox Gold to play it online. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you would on Xbox.
I'm happy I got to play that at E3. I liked that game. That
I'm
game was
just
fun.
It's gone, dude.
I know.
I'm
That game
curious
was
if the
fun.
opposite will be true. That's what's worrying me right now in my head. Is if you want to play Gears of War 4 PC, you need to play it on Xbox Live and have a gold. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh. Oh, blood.
Games for Windows Live situation.
No.
Right?
No.
No, but that could be the case.
So you're saying they would do the opposite? That you'd have to pay $60 to play on PC?
That would be a death sentence.
They would be eaten alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eaten alive.
Jones, is that fair to do still? To charge people $60 a month or $60 a year? I'm sorry.
I will give. I really have to give credit to Patrick Morales.
Okay.
Who is a former Game Trailers alum.
Yeah.
Who I am Joe Q privileged gamer that was just like, I'll pay for my online services, whatever. And like he really, it was on episode Invisible Walls or something we were on, and like he like almost just reached across the table and slapped me across the face. And was like, why are you paying for online? That makes no sense. Why am I not paying on PlayStation 3? Why have I never paid for it on PC? What? You're an idiot. And I was like, you're right. Wow, I never thought about that. You really opened my eyes. Like, yeah, it is totally ridiculous. And like, it is. What was it? Backwards compatibility on the Xbox One? Was that the big thing last year?
That was
there was
the
some
big
kind of
announcement last
functionality
year.
with the Xbox One that they announced. We were all like, that's a cool announcement. Microsoft, wow, well done. So like, maybe I could see them, looking back at last year, like, what worked? Ooh, that worked. That wasn't tech that we had. That wasn't some, HoloLens proof of concept we had to do. That was just some cool announcement. Sony seems to do all that all the time, and people love them for that. So
There'd be some major points for Microsoft.
I think it'd be a huge thing,
especially because where they're at right now, it's like let's hedge all our bets.
The main reason I'm skeptical is because I mean it basically did go the other way. Like Sony had that advantage, and they obviously for reasons of cost had to give it up.
Yeah.
So it's it's a tricky thing to do, but. Yeah, Microsoft is going to have to go one way or the other with this PC thing.
And you think they might go the other way? That's really interesting.
Gotta give.
They either have to make it all free or they have to make the PC players pay.
Yeah, I'm guessing
it would be really weird to me, like if you could just buy the same game on a PC and not pay what Xbox. I mean, like why in the world would you get an Xbox?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about, I guess, Rocket League, right? Rocket League, you can play for free on PC online, and you need a PlayStation subscription to play that online. It happens. It's out there. I suspect that we'll see a whole press conference go by, and that's never brought up.
Yeah.
Maybe they can at least reduce the price. It is $60 right now still.
No, I mean, you either do away with it or not. That'd be so weird. Like, now it's only $40?
That'd be a big deal. That'd be a big deal. I think most people pay $40 anyway. They just get card online or something like that. I get the impression Jones is afraid to even speak because he's afraid to make this podcast longer than it is.
Yeah, he's ready to wrap this up.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much,
Let's
Michael.
go one more.
You want one more?
One more.
Oh my god.
One more.
I have to cut this thing, you
Come on,
monster.
one more.
You don't have to listen to the
Do
whole
it for
thing.
the fans.
Do it for the
It's E3.
fans, Jones.
Everyone is pumped right now.
Because this is one that I've wanted to do.
Oh, well, there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now
Here we go. Here we go. Final.
But it's going to be a discussion, Jones.
Finale.
Roll your
Okay.
sleeves up.
Finale.
Now that it's out, what do you make of the new Hitman's episodic nature? Can forcing a user to wait a month between missions actually improve the user's experience, as they are less likely to feel fatigued? Oh, sorry, there's no or there. It's tough to do live reads. I understand Jones' struggle now. Do you think more people are likely to complete this as it's broken into easier chunks, given that most gamers don't finish most games? Love and respect as always, Tom Bowen.
I have a lot to say about this.
Okay, here we go.
So when this was first announced, right?
This was a big fight we had
Hitman
on our old
botched
podcast.
the plan. Your GT time.
Yeah.
Hitman botched the plan.
That was the title. Absolutely, yes.
We were so against it, and as I'm playing now, I think they're killing it. I think they're doing really, really well with it because you really sink your teeth into each stage, and going at it from different angles is encouraged, whereas the older Hitmans like Blood Money and 1, 2, 3, it was, okay, first attempt, let's go, finish the mission, move on, and that's it. And by coming out now and having a month to kind of sink your teeth into it, you're going about the missions from so many different angles. I remember the Villa mission that we streamed. I did the route where you go in as the flower guy. I did the route where you go in as the chef. I went in like guns blazing down some alleyway. Like I've done so many different ways, and it's just so fun to kind of, improvise and do that. But the double-edged sword is episode 3 just came out, and I didn't really like it. So now it's kind of a bummer, and now I kind of have this salty taste in my mouth where it's like, I want to get back in there and kind of recapture the high of episode 1 and 2. And right now I'm kind of sour on it. So,
what's weird about 3? Because like the way I imagined it is the levels would get more complex and more fun as they went on.
Yeah.
What's 3 missing?
It's so hard to put my finger on why episode 3 is weird.
You're not the only person who feels this way, though.
It's because it's a war zone.
Yeah,
so
there's
you
like
feel
soldiers in places that you really aren't supposed to be.
You feel like a soldier, where in episode 1 and 2, you feel like a hitman. You feel like an assassin. You feel like you got to kind of schmooze your way in and kind of trick your way into these places. And 3 just kind of feels like, military map.
Here's the thing. I remember this. I remember this episode. I remember this argument. Matt Blair defended it like crazy. He was on the other side. I said, Matt Blair, this is a mistake. And he says, no, this is genius. People can play a AAA game for $15. And my impression was, they're not going to feel like they're playing a AAA game. This game will never feel like a AAA game because of the way they're releasing it. Mm-hmm. Is that incorrect?
I think it does feel like a AAA game.
Yeah?
Some of these missions are awesome.
Okay.
Like 1 and 2, I think. Again, 3 was kind of a downer, but the elusive contracts, you feel so connected.
So these are the global online ones, right?
The global online ones, you can only do it once. One attempt.
Yeah.
I get an email that from Square Enix that is like...
These are amazing.
Yeah.
When I found out about these, I was like, I didn't know about this.
I get an email that said, the target is live. And it's like, once you go in, that's it. Your power goes off, you die, you botch it, it is done. That target is gone in the wind. You have to adapt on the fly. You have to really be cautious and use your surroundings and just be observant. They are super fun, and those come out kind of in between each episode. So an episode will come out, you'll play it, you'll have fun with it, and then they'll come out with an elusive contract, so it kind of eases the weight for the next one. But again, I'm really weird. Story is one of my favorite things in video games, and the episodic structure is kind of killing the story for me.
Oh, sure.
Everything feels so disconnected. So there's a lot of...
there's supposed to be a connected story to the episodes?
After you beat an episode, you'll get a little bit of a cinematic, but everything just feels so disjointed story-wise.
Yeah, that feels like a mistake.
Yeah.
I feel like each one of those should be like and episode like really, really like cohesive and wrapped up in it.
There's
because that's always something that always like irked me a little bit about like Splinter Cell. They were like, oh, remember when Sam's daughter died? Well, now he found the guy who was there when she died, and now and like he's a secret agent. Have him go on a mission, stop a bad guy. We're done. You know, like I hate when they have like James Bond and like Mission Impossible, where it's like they're all disavowed. It's like they're always all disavowed. It's always the worst thing that's ever happened to MI6, and everyone's all fired and like the building. You know, it's like and with Bond, they did that too. Like, oh, they blew up where he's from, and they're like, oh, they killed everybody, and like just
you didn't care about that.
I cared about it, but it's like doing that extreme thing is to me in some ways the opposite. It's like I'm almost kind of hungry for a traditional. He's just a hitman, and he got a paycheck, and his indifference to this story actually turns me on because it's like that. You know, that's his job. You know, like he literally that means the crazier thing that you did when he went to bed that night, he didn't think about it. You know, he was just like, what did I do today? I don't remember. Whatever.
Yeah, and that makes it a compelling character to you.
I just wish there was some kind of connection thing, like a little hub. Like some of the older Hitmans had a hub where you had your little base where you could shoot targets and kind of, you know, look at all the items you've accumulated, kind of try on some suits and wardrobes and
Hubert,
use
that's
your
a
cash.
great idea.
Analyze the environment, like check out the map, like study it, see where people are,
your
like
attack, look at the history of the location, like that would be awesome. It feels so disconnected right now.
Yeah,
but I've always been so against episodic, and I just find myself looking forward to each episode. You know, I'm so in the mindset now of there's just so many damn games out there where you burn through it, you delete it from your hard drive, you move on to the next, and now Hitman has a permanent space on there for the time being.
Right.
Waiting for the new episode, waiting for the elusive contract. Really, it's its own unique beast in today's gaming environment, and I really appreciate it.
I have a candidate for the Hitman concept because the tricky thing is like the way that they've done the episodic nature plays to Hitman so beautifully. You know, it's like he drops into an area and then he's gone, and he might go back there to kill another guy. You know, so like it makes sense. You know, to have it be episodic, to just introduce a new environment and to give you a reason, you know, like we'll all play this again and again and again. Like if it was a Battleborn map or a, even like Black Ops 3, like you might be, 5 months later, it's like, am I going to reboot Black Ops 3 just because they had that cool little jungle map? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like if the whole if I know, well, the map 5 is coming out in June. Now I'm anticipating it way ahead of time, even though I have no idea what it is. But I know like, oh yeah, Hitman's that month. That's gonna be another reason for me to jump back into Hitman. Rainbow Six Siege. I wonder if Rainbow Six Siege would still be a game we're still talking about, which we are not.
Yeah.
If it had been released episodically. If literally Rainbow Six Siege had launched 4-6 months before it did with 2 maps. And then they're like, all these other maps are going to come in, and they're going to have a story bent. You know, they're going to have like a through line, and so each one of these new things happen, and so it's like, okay, well now I'm going to just consume this map for 2 weeks nonstop, and then I'm done, and then I can leave that behind and move on. And then later on, there's an airport now. Oh, crazy!
Yeah.
Let's make a weekend out of that airport, and then move on with our lives.
It's all about planning, and you're just planning. Oh man!
But it doesn't work for every franchise. I don't think.
I don't think Hitman was a smash hit. Or it is a smash hit currently.
I would not argue that, yeah.
And I do wonder if they left something on the table and not be a complete game at launch. And not even like, the original plan was to have more than one chapter at launch, and then they didn't do that. They had the prologue and just one.
I think but I think it's like a home run to bring a little baseball into it. It's like, you could have swung real hard, and you could have knocked it out of the park, but like, you didn't. You got a ground ball and you got the guy in and you won the game. It's like you didn't do a home run. It wasn't amazing, because if you missed that swing, you missed entirely. If they put all of their eggs in the basket of making some big AAA Hitman and people didn't care, and just by the nature of the industry, it just happened to launch like right next to Call of Duty or some dumb thing that got delayed, and they're like, oh crap, we have to release on that date through no fault of their own. Just the roll of the dice in launching games,
especially coming off Absolution.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a return to form for the franchise.
Absolution went back on the shelf, went back to GameStop.
Oh.
For sure.
Yeah.
Jones, for the record, that was the most basic analogy I've ever heard. They could have swung, they could have knocked it out of the park.
I'm with you, Jones.
If they didn't swing, it would have been a strike. So
just because there are sacrifices you have to make in baseball sometimes. It seems like, what's that guy doing? And it's like, I don't care about me. I don't care what my stats are in this game. I want to win.
Yeah. How about you had a game-winning sack fly?
Sure.
Someone you're out, but the runner came home from third and won the game.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah, I like that. They did take a sacrifice and not.
No one's gonna talk about me on baseball tonight, today, but I won the damn game.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to pluck that one so bad. Is I really did want to talk about Hitman
when we streamed Hitman, I was like, ooh, Hitman. Oh no, I don't need another game right now, but I got one. I mean, that's on my list. I want to play that.
Cool, and they're making it easy and accessible for you to do so.
And it'll happen again when map number 4 comes out. We'll be talking about Hitman again.
Tom Bowen, thank you so much for that question. It is now time for bets. Friendship's over. Okay. So, last week's bet was about Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which released on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, curious about this one.
How long from the first frame of the game do we have to wait until we hear the word faith? So.
This was a little bit of a botch bet.
It was not a botched bet.
Botch bet?
There's no botch. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it now.
Who's sketch?
Basically, we could have looked it up. Right. There was this. Apparently, the intro was in the beta.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, like, if we were part of EA Access, we could have downloaded it early.
Yeah, I played this. I'm sure.
Ben played it.
Yeah.
Well, the EA Access what came after the.
All right. So Ben played it, and Jones, you played it too.
In what Ben described to me, that was what I played at PAX or.
All right,
PSX
whatever. So then, like, 2 people who bet on this already played it.
This is sketch.
Jones bet
Compromise.
1 minute. Ben bet 1 second. Brad bet 20 seconds. I bet 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
Love 20 seconds. Come on, Brad.
The actual amount of seconds until you hear the word faith
20 seconds.
is 48 seconds. Jones wins again.
Oh,
Jones
Brad.
wins again.
And you could put electrodes on me, and I have no idea what I remember she gets out of prison. I remember the jerky guy he was like describing to us. But
from what I can tell, I watched it just earlier today.
Juvie.
There were titles to say like, runners are running around the city. They
Sure.
carry packages.
Sure.
There's been peace for 20 years. That takes 48 seconds. And then the first line is, Faith, I'm scared. And I was like, oh. So the first spoken word is Faith. Oh. But there's that whole like, this is the scenario this game takes place in. That takes forever. That takes the 48 seconds.
And there's no sketch because Ben's team and Jones's team.
Yeah, exactly.
They cancel each other out.
Ben bet 1 second, which isn't. I think he had the right memory. I think he just didn't remember the stupid titles that appear. So that brings us to Green Lizards 3, Red Eagles 8.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel bad.
What do you feel bad about?
Because we changed it up, the rules. We're the ones that appear on the show every week. It's a whole new set of rules. We're like dominating. I just feel like people think something's
No,
up.
well, Jones, if people want to hear about it, I thought very deeply about, basically you need a personal incentive to want points. And so if there are 2 rotating seats, you need your personal incentive to be shared among those 2 rotating seats, just as ours need to be personally incentivized. That's why their teams exist.
Yeah, we're trying to take you down.
Yeah. We're just super good at bets these
Trying
days.
being the operative word there.
Yeah.
Jones,
Just never been smug about bets. I don't know what to do.
I gotta tell you, Jones, this is weird. I think of you differently now that you're winning bets. I know I shouldn't. I know that's crazy.
But I look at you from across the couch, and you're just not the same
You're
person.
a different person, Jones.
I think this could be a comity.
Oh, God.
You already won that one.
That one I'm not giving to you. No. I'm not giving you that one. That one was weird. That didn't feel right. Well, civility is what comity means, right? Comity?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know, Huber. That one's a stretch. It'd be like, I would like to grant you a comity. I would give you some points right now. That would be like, I feel like the proper use of that. Anyway, Jones has been on fire this season. If you never watched us when we used to do GT time, Jones used to be awful.
Yeah, real bad.
He would win like 3 bets in an entire year. For some reason, he's really good at it now.
He's ready. Home field advantage.
Easy allies. I don't know what's happening.
Home
freedom.
base.
He's a new man.
Home field advantage. Yeah, I wonder if that is my lucky room.
Yeah. So let's talk about next week's bet. Let's
Do
see
the
if
next
Jones is
bet
still
outside
lucky.
and see how it goes.
E3. Hey, E3's coming. E3, we're all excited about it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's a very special game releasing on Friday. Sherlock Holmes. Hey, Sophie. The Devil's Daughter. That's releasing on June 10th. June 10th. At this time next week, how many Steam reviews will this game have? Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter. I am your daughter. What movie is that?
Oh, the others.
The Others.
What have you done with my daughter? I am your daughter.
All right, so Jones, what do you think?
The ghost movie that teaches you not to be afraid of ghosts. I'm like, oh, thanks, great.
Oh my goodness, that's what that one is? So that's Nicole Kidman?
Yeah.
That is a good movie.
Really good movie.
Oh, I love that. What are you shaking your head for?
The beginning of that movie is really great, but the end is like, don't be afraid of ghosts. So I'm like, thanks, scary movie.
No, that's not the message.
Go see your friends, Kyle.
That's not the message.
Go see your friends. Go see your friends. They can babysit your kids. Go see your friends.
No, that's not the message of that movie.
If you ever see a ghost for the rest of your life, don't be afraid of it. Thanks for paying good money to see this horror film.
Oh, boy.
I mean, I was into it. That I was gripped into that movie. Second time I saw it, bored out of my mind because I'm like,
oh man. Well, why did you? That's on you for watching it twice.
But you shouldn't. I mean, if you have a movie that has a gimmick, it's
you're
like
gonna watch
I
The
should
Sixth
be.
Sense twice. You don't watch it
Hell
twice.
yeah! You watch
movies are
The Usual
usually one and
Suspects. You don't watch that movie twice.
Nuh-uh.
I go immediately into the second viewing. Oh my god! Now I gotta take what I know and apply it to the film I just saw. You know,
reload the popcorn and hop back in the theater. Jones, what's your bet?
I bet it's 22, 2 and then another 2.
Nice.
Double 2s.
That is very few.
Okay.
That's only 22 people who bought the game and say, "I want to." This is my review for this game.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
I'm going low.
Why should I bet against Jones at this point? Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Blood.
120.
Go ahead, Huber.
40.
40.
I'm your daughter. 188 is my bet.
Yeah, flip it.
Okay,
There you go.
So 81 there? Yeah, 188.
Nobody can see anything
I
but
like
a piece of white
it's
paper.
called an
so-
audible, basically, with that. No, like 881. I'd be more comfortable with 800. Okay, so 188. Let me lock those in. Okay, so Jones, the streak, man, what is going on? So because you've won the bet, you win the rights and responsibility to tell everyone what your Twitter handle is. You may promote any video from Easy Allies that you'd like. You get the final word on anything you disagree with or simply want to reiterate from this episode. And you get to give everyone your trademark sign-off.
You can follow me at Trailer Jones. I don't think I want to like correct anybody. I'm just so sad Disney's not going to be at E3. It's just like seeing that booth. It's just so great every year. It was just like, well, I'll take that appointment, and all the other allies were like, sure, Jones, and none of us want Disney. That's fine, you can take that, and that's just gonna be such a hole. I strongly recommend that you not only go watch our review of Overwatch, which I had an extreme amount of pleasure editing because it's a very fun game to edit, but that was the very first review of Mr. Brad Ellis.
Are we giving him a round of applause here?
We're giving him a round of applause.
It's
not an easy thing writing a review.
Yeah.
It's especially not an easy thing writing
write
something
reviews.
and then letting myself and Huber and Blood and Ben and other people read it and be like, this is bad, change that, and being like, I'll change it. Great, how can I make it better? And he was so great during the entire process, and very excited to see more stuff that he works on, because there's just some games that are just, that's a Brad game. Give that game to Brad. So go watch that, and if you have not, reached out to him, Bradley Ellis 87 on Twitter, and say, good job, Brad.
Oh, hey, you don't get to do that.
Way to get up there.
You already did Trailer Jones.
Okay, sorry. Then don't go to Trailer Jones. Just go to Brad.
Oh,
Forget I
what?
said that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I'm throwing myself under the bus
Botched.
here.
This is botched.
Jones, when you say that you take pleasure in editing,
Yeah.
that's unusual to me, because basically we usually work with like cranky editors who are just like, yeah, I'll get it out. Don enjoys doing Damiani stuff for sure. But like most of the time when we would hand, especially at GT when we had like dozens of editors, it was always just like, yeah, I'll get it out. I'll do it. What joy do you take in doing these reviews?
It's fun to basically what I do is like the first thing I do is I read the script, and then read the VO, throw the VO in there, pick the best clips for each paragraph, and then I take the music. And it's fun to like, especially with Blood is so good at getting those soundtracks. It's like listening to I get the Blood and Wine. Can't wait. I get to listen to every track. I'm like, okay, that's a good combat track. There might be a better combat track. And then, that one's real good. And like, then when they redo the theme, like, that's going at the end. Okay, like picking the right moments. And then I have my VO. I have the audio completely taken care of. If I want to throw a little sound up in there, I can move stuff around. And then I watch someone play a game, and it's the best. Then I like boot up, every little match, watching, Brad like being like, oh, somebody likes, this character, and just seeing, the characters he was good at, characters he wasn't, like picking out those cool little moments. It's fun. It's fun to do games people are passionate about. It's fun to do bad games. It's fun to, there's not a review I have cut so far that I haven't had a tremendous amount of pleasure working on. And Brandon plays Pokemon. I get it. When I watch those, I'll like catch myself just smiling, grinning ear to ear, just cracking up.
But that one's no edits. You don't have any decisions to make when you're editing that show.
But like going back and seeing me making fun of Farfetch'd, having no idea it's your favorite Pokemon.
Oh yeah, that's good.
and then like watching me be like, what a goofy looking Pokemon, and seeing you like. The expression on your face, it's so good. Like, so yeah, I am stressed and I need to get more sleep, across the board for everything we're doing with these allies. But I would not trade any of those edits for a second.
Jones, what's so cool is like that was definitely one of the goals we thought we would not hit. Reviews.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When we first started Easy Allies.
Yeah, reviews was like fingers crossed. Retros was like never.
And we were thinking, let's make reviews super expensive so we don't have to do them. Let's just put those out there. No, we got there, and then some. That's cool. It's really nice to hear you talk about editing that way.
Yeah. Have a great E3, everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers.